She used to be an actress.
She ever do anything I saw?
I think her biggest deal was that she starred in a pilot.
What's a pilot?
Well, you know, the show's on TV.
I don't watch TV.
Yes, but you're aware that there's an invention called television, and on that invention they show shows.
Yeah.
Well, the way they pick the shows on TV is they make one show, and that show's called a pilot. And then they show that one show... Welcome to Couch Pilots, all of my friends. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television, Pilots of the Band. My name is Jason, and with me is the man who has survived this urban wasteland. It's Captain Philip. Rest assured, good evening.
I cannot die, unfortunately. Like, I wish I could.
You try.
Yeah, I try. I try every day, all day, day.
It's like some would call it a perfect film, Groundhog's Day.
Oh.
And they didn't explore, purposefully, I think, they thought of it, but they didn't explore some of the darker themes of the film. Like, what if Bill Murray decided to murder and rape, capture...
Pillage.
And to pillage, of course. How could I forget? Torture, perhaps. But at one point, he's just like, I just do the same thing every day. What if I start to kill myself? There's a whole sequence where he's killing himself.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah.
You are that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just waiting for it to be done.
Sleeves of Oreos. Cases upon cases of Miller Lights.
That part, yes. But I don't wake up in the middle of the night. I don't eat anymore. I
remember when you used to eat sleeves of Oreos in the middle of the night? And,
or Ritz crackers.
And anything with a sleeve.
Yeah. I'm always about the sleeve.
You love Chips Ahoy's in the sleeves.
Yep, that's why I masturbate with a sock on.
You live a very tubular life, brah. Live a tubular life, brah.
But yet I don't know how to swim very well, so that's weird.
Yeah, you live in that SoCal surfer boy lifestyle, but goddamn it, if you can step foot in the water.
I'm in the process of finding buying a new pair of swimming trunks.
Oh yeah, you told me that yesterday because I know you like to make a big deal out of it, and maybe you wouldn't have brought it up. But yesterday we went on a date.
Yeah, and it was nice. We didn't talk about podcasting, but maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, we discussed briefly some more plans for episode 300, but other than that. It was just me watching a man who has a slipped disc just go against doctor's orders.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You know?
How's it feeling now? Because you've been through your second round of shots. The first one, I don't know what the guy was doing, just waving it around. The next time he's like, this time I'm going to put it in a particular place. And
Sure.
he gave you 2 shots of cortisone, one right into a disc in your back.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It was not fun. But yeah, so I'm just I'm in training. My training already has been done differently than I had planned.
How so?
Well, my plan was to bowl 3 tomorrow, or 3 yesterday. Next week, bowl 4. Mm-hmm. But I just said, fuck it.
And you did 6 immediately.
My bro's hanging out with me. I'll do it again.
How many games were you going
to do? 3.
Excuse me. Because you were on 4 when I got there.
Right.
And then you said, let's bowl one. And then I said, all right. And they said, let's bowl another one. And I said, okay, I'll do whatever you want to do. And the first game, we tied.
Yeah, we did.
Which you have to be beating yourself up about.
Oh, that's probably why we bowled another one.
That's exactly why we bowled the second one. Oh, my God. Yeah, I think that's really... It was very good that I showed up yesterday because it said to you, God damn, I got to get some practice in it.
Sure.
This fucking jamoke walking off the street here with his 20-year-old ball called Melvin, owned by a lady named Martha in the 80s, just tied me.
You didn't do too bad.
Nah, I'm not good.
Your approach is a little rough, but you didn't do bad.
Well, I don't
care.
I do it for fun, and I don't care, and I don't know all the moves.
I don't care.
You have that thing on your wrist.
I don't wear it anymore.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't wear it anymore.
Why not?
Because I don't need it.
Do you think guys wear it because they really do need it, or is it just to look flashy and professional?
No, I think over time your wrist becomes very. There's a lot of damage is done. So yeah.
Is there going to come a point where the doctor is putting a cortisone shot in your wrist? Are there discs in your wrists?
No, but they put cortisone shots in joints like for arthritis and stuff.
Yeah, I hope I'm never making it to that point. I don't want to take any medicine. I don't want any doctors putting needles in my butthole. Nothing like that.
He didn't put it in my butthole.
That's not what your wife told me. No, wait, that was something else. A few weeks away, right? This episode comes out the 24th.
Yeah, so it's 2 weeks away from the 24th.
2 weeks. Are you excited?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, but I'm also very nervous.
We talked about something at dinner last night. Do you want to recap it here?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to give us the recap?
Well, the recap is I'm very excited to go bowl. I'm very excited to go to Vegas. I have travel anxiety, but most importantly, I won't have a babysitter. Mm-hmm. And that causes me concern. Like at first, I was like, I'm going to Vegas for a week with no wife. I was like, that's awesome.
Right.
I get away from the kids and the wife and the work and my friends.
Reality sets in.
Get away from all of them.
Got to get away to your friends, man. If reality sets in, you're like, I think I need constant supervision, like a baby does.
Right. I'm in the city of Sin City, and I have a drinking problem and a gambling problem. What am I going to do for 7 days?
Yeah, there's a lot of whores out there, all kinds of whores. Doesn't matter what gender they are.
And my favorite one, she lives out there.
And what's her name?
I'm not going to talk about that. It's personal.
Oh, that's fine. I see. Sometimes I don't know where the line is until we cross it.
That's the fun of it, right?
But I had given some suggestions yesterday about ways to safeguard yourself.
Sure.
And almost providing yourself what a normal adult would do, and that's their own supervision. Did you like any of my suggestions, and will you take them?
No, that makes sense completely. I don't want to take a whole wallet anyway, so take that card, and
Well,
just,
what was the suggestion? What was one of the suggestions that you're referencing right now?
well, to only have so much on a card.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do it. You could get like a Visa card, just go to the store and activate it, and then
Sure.
put funds on it. And then when the funds are gone, you're effed.
Yeah.
So you got to be, oh my God, I got to get home too. I got to be careful.
Get like a gambling card, and then get like a booze card, and like a whore card. And when each one of those goes out, you can't do no more booze, can't do no more whores, you can't do no more gambling.
That stops the how much can I spend. But you had other concerns too, right? Like, what am I going to do with all my time?
Right.
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 And do you remember what I suggested there?
To find activities to do, like to go to the Hoover Dam, or
Yeah.
Spoiler.
For next week, we're going to have Hoover on next week.
But the other one I was thinking was like the Eiffel Tower. It was right there in front of my hotel. It's part of my hotel.
Yeah.
And I don't like heights at all.
So what?
But it's supposedly it's like one of the best views in Vegas.
Got to do it.
Yeah. And then I was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. And then I was like, $40. I was like, I don't know if I should do that.
Put it on your whore card. So
Got to keep that whore card as full as possible.
You got to charge it up, babe. So
And I also have to go on the internet and find out how that works, because
the cards.
no, the whore thing.
Oh.
I don't wear a wedding ring, which
Yeah. No, I know.
and I'm going to be sitting at a bar, and I'm very gullible,
Right.
But how does that work?
Well, from my experience, my limited experience in Las Vegas
Is it like if they're a police officer, they have to tell you?
Yeah. So just basically go up to any pretty girl you see and say,
No, I'm not going to go to them.
Are you a whore? You have to tell me if you are.
No, I'm not going to go to them, because then it's cheating if I go to them. But if they come to me, it's
That's not. I didn't know that's how monogamy works.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Well, no. When I was out in Vegas, though, there's a lot of debris.
Cards.
Like most towns are filthy places, and they smell like human shit. A lot of it is. But if you're walking around, sometimes there's debris. And if you pick up some of the debris, sometimes there'll be like an ad saying, "Hey, you want to hang out with a lady or a fella tonight?"
Yeah, it used to be.
I call this number right here.
It used to be called clickers. The guys would walk up and down clicking them.
They had a little clicking device to get your attention.
No, they would click the cards. They used to be cards instead of flyers.
Oh, I thought you were talking like an umpire had a little clicker.
No.
Okay.
Ball one, ball two. If you're interested.
That's the guy you'll be looking for. So that'll. If that's your thing, which thankfully to this day, I've never paid for sex with money.
Sure.
Emotionally, oh my God,
yeah,
I paid over and over
tenfold.
again. Yeah, I'm scraping the bottom here of the barrel. I got to get a refill. How do you refill emotions?
You just do shitty things to other people to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, no, I've done that too.
Okay. And you're still low?
I'm still low. No, in the past I've done it.
In the past.
And I would lie to you if I said I had turned over a new leaf. Every day, I strongly believe that every day, as a human being, I become a little worse.
Sure, we're supposed to.
I had this girlfriend many years ago, and I had said, I had this relationship, and it ended real bad, and I'm just like, I'm a different person now. And she says, well, at least you learned from it, and you're a better person. I was like, oh no, I'm a worse person now. All these things, all this baggage, people say experience, you learn from these things, and they're right, you do. But a lot of times you end up a worse person as a result.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been beat down over the years.
So
I used to be a really nice guy.
Oh, I wish. I've seen pictures of you in the past where you're smiling in them.
Oh,
that's off-putting to see him smile.
I don't do that anymore.
No, yeah, you don't. But I would say go out there, make a strict schedule. Right? You know what? Even have Molly go over the schedule with you. She could be your supervisor before she sends you out.
Yeah, that's true.
And then maybe every time she puts down their, Blue Man Group, it could be a little wink to yourself. It's like, this is where I go find a horror.
Right, because I've already seen Blue Man Group.
Yeah, I don't need
fucking bananas.
I don't want to be Blue Ball Man Group out there. You write that down. So are you going to utilize any of this? Really? Do you think it's going to help?
Yeah, I do have some friends that are going to be there, and so maybe some pool time at other pools and stuff. That'll pass the time just trying to walk to where they're at.
Yeah.
I maybe go to see the Siegfried and Roy animals that are caged up against their will on the hot summer days.
Good.
I've done it before, but maybe do it again.
I see. This is who I'd want. I've seen Cirque du Soleil and I've seen Bloomin' Group. Fine shows. I enjoyed them. I'm really glad I went to see them. I would love to go see Penn and Teller. I think that would be great. I would go see. I'd probably go see like a Carrot Top, and I think Celine Dion's out there. I would even go see Celine Dion. I don't really like her music, but she is a very talented performer.
I would go see Rod Stewart before I would go see.
I'd go see
Celine
Rod
Dion.
Stewart. You ever that rumor about him?
Yeah, he had so much cum they had to pump in his belly. They had to pump his stomach.
Oh my god! No, I heard he was out in Vegas. That's the rumor I heard. But you said what? Gross. Did you say ouch?
No, because I hit my nose on this thing.
Man, you're hurting from both ends.
That's what she said.
Pretty funny. I don't know. Oops. I'm excited for you. I know this trip has been a year and a half in the making, and it's crunch time and it's going to happen. I just hope you come back in one piece.
Yeah.
And you know what? It'd be nice if you came back and had a smile on your face.
Yeah, you never know.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, it depends on how much she costs.
You say she or he?
You have to go back and roll the tape back.
You know I don't listen to these.
Neither do I. Why would I want to experience it twice?
When are you going to stop doing the show?
Pretty soon.
Yeah, you think so? Pretty soon? You think after 300 you're done?
Yeah, I think maybe 301.
301?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I get it. Do I keep going or not?
I'll sign the rights over to you.
Okay. I'd be paying. Yeah, you'd be paying me not to do it.
Right.
Anyway, I still have fun doing the show.
No, I have fun. I'm not saying I don't have fun.
But what are you saying then? Because when you say it like that, you feel like that's the beginning of a thing, and then there's more to say.
No, it seems like there is no downtime in my life, and
What are you going to do with your downtime?
I just be down, be just like sitting on the couch relaxing.
I feel like you do that a lot.
I don't at all.
Okay. What would you do on the couch? Should we watch TV?
Yes.
What are you going to watch? Better Call Saul?
Yes.
Okay, those are good options. I agree with you. You should have more downtime then.
I love serial killer documentaries.
You said
there's a new one. There's a new one out. And I haven't watched it yet.
There's a billion of them out there. There's a text chain out there, and you said I found a way to kill a man.
No, that's not what I said.
I said not only do I want to kill a man, but I have found a way to get away with killing a man.
No.
So it makes me think that you're like. I feel like that's what everyone's doing, right? All the ladies out there, they're like, how can I kill my husband? And so they listen to all these true crime podcasts. And then the guys are thinking, how can I just kill a guy? I want to feel what it's like to feel the life drain from someone's eyes.
Right.
Shot a man in Reno, right? I think that's what you're doing. I think you are listening to all these podcasts, and I think you're watching all these crime shows thinking, I can get away with it.
I am pretty close to having a plan to where I think I can get away with it. Yeah.
How many people are on your I'm going to kill you list?
3.
Can you name any of them?
No, because then it's recorded and for.
But we don't go back and listen to these.
But other people, can you imagine? Let's say I did.
Who else is listening?
No, I know, but just think about this. Let's say I did somehow get. I was in a murder trial, and some intern at some law firm had to sit and listen to hours and hours and hours of us just to try to find.
The intern would kill themselves.
Yeah.
The intern would be like, I'm scraping the bottom emotionally. There's nothing I can do to refill it. I'm going to kill myself.
And most interns at a law firm are gonna want to kill themselves anyway.
I think that's probably true.
No, tell the story right. Is our friend Kimo Slice got a new van? Like,
right, yes.
You know, and I was like, sweet. Now I know somebody with a van. Now all you got to do is befriend a pig farmer.
That's because pigs will eat everything.
Yeah, that's the best way to dispose.
What about goats? Goats eat everything. There's always jokes about goats eating tin cans.
Right, but they won't eat it as fast. It'll take them longer.
Oh, you want something that will eat it and eat it fast.
Sure, yeah. Because you have to get rid of the evidence as quickly as possible. The only thing they don't eat is the teeth.
They don't? Why not the teeth? How's that so different from the bone?
Yeah, they'll always leave the teeth. I think it's because it's.
But at the end of the day, the teeth are a huge part of so what are you doing? Just collecting the teeth at the end?
Right. Yeah, and then there's a way I'm going to dispose of them.
Are you collecting the feces too? Could they take pig feces and there's some of that guy's DNA who's dead?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I think what you have to do, you have to kill the person, feed him to the pig, right? And then you have to kill the pig and then feed that pig to some more pigs.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I'm just saying, you keep removing one step. Yeah, write that down. And then who did you say you're going to kill? It's me. God damn it.
No, it's not. I even told everybody in the text chain nobody in the text chain was on the list.
There was serious concern that one of us would be on the list. And I don't think you would tell us. I strongly suspect there is at least one or two people on that text chain that you would kill.
No.
You just did a weird face like I'm right.
No, I just did a weird face like, now that you mentioned it.
God, I think it's going to be me. I don't want it to be me.
It's going to be me. Are you Justin Timberlake all of a sudden?
No, same initials though.
Oh, yeah.
So I get confused with him a lot.
What if I start calling you JT? Would it drive you crazy?
Oh, my dad calls me JT.
Really? Does he? Oh, that's cool.
Hey, he's the only one.
All right. Well, I would never step in the way of that. But.
Yeah, my dad would whip your ass if you did that. My dad knows karate and has a sword, so
karate?
Don't fuck with him. Today we discuss the pilot episode of Badlands 2005 from the year of our Lord 1988. That was a great year.
1988, there was some Olympics for sure.
Oh, yeah. It was sometime in the 80s because, before, it was every 4 years, and on that 1 year, you'd have both the summer and winter.
Right.
But it was about this time when they said, yeah, let's just do every 2 years. We'll go off and on.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I remember the 84 Olympics, so I'm assuming the 88 Olympics. Yeah.
What happened that made you remember
I think
it?
Greg Louganis cracked his head open.
And he spilled his AIDS into the pool.
Right.
Is he dead? No, he's alive, isn't he?
I don't know. And then the gymnast Mary Tyler Moore, she was really good. She was in the Wheaties box.
Perfect 10.
Yeah.
Just like...
And she wasn't, in my opinion.
Oh, I disagree. That haircut. Look like little Dutch boy. That's what gets my rocks off. You go to Pornhub.com, search Dutch boy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Mary Tyler Moore comes up every time.
Yeah, so in 1988, I was 13.
Yeah, I was 7.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's good math.
Was I...
What's that?
8, 13? I was 13.
Yeah, you were.
Okay.
Yeah. I get you.
I was a teenager.
Let's get in the proper mind frame of 1988. And to do so, we'll have to go back there.
In our minds.
And we do that. We talk about things from that year so we can properly get in the mind frame of the year in which the pilot was released so we can judge it appropriately, because to do it any other way would be a grave injustice.
Right. You cannot judge a pilot TV show today in 2021. You can't judge it the same way you would in 1988.
We're not animals, people.
I mean, we could do it, but it would be unjust, unfair.
Yeah.
You know, it would be against the Constitution.
We're justice warriors, right?
We should change the name of the show
To Justice Warriors?
Justice Warriors.
I am about it.
All about it?
I'm just about it.
Yeah, because in 1988 we didn't have things like CGI. We didn't have professional wrestling, to be honest with you. Awesome. We didn't have auto tunes, HD, contraceptives. There were no contraceptives back in 1988.
There was no way not to become pregnant.
Right. I mean,
basically, every time you had sex with someone, if that person wasn't already pregnant, they were getting pregnant.
That's why a lot of pregnant women had sex.
The great population explosion of 1988.
Yep. So, and of course they didn't have Band-Aids either. So if you cut yourself while you were fucking somebody, yep, you should out of luck.
You're going to Greg Louganis that person.
Yeah. So, mama dies, baby dies, everybody dies.
Mama die, baby die. Oh, isn't that a great... What? Are you hitting your head again on the mic? What is happening? So you're off, something's off with you today. Right? I feel like your heart's not in it.
No, it is. I actually, to be honest with you, I was like, I feel good about this tonight. And then you're like, you still don't seem very into it.
Maybe I'm just so used to being in a bad mood. I was like, that's what I'm used to.
Who's in a bad mood?
I don't know. Nobody. May 23rd, Maryland stops sale of cheap pistols on January 1st, 1990. They made that rule in 1988.
Cheap pistols, like real pistols?
Yeah.
At an inexpensive price?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Do you own a pistol?
No, Molly won't let me have one.
Do you own any guns?
No, Molly won't let me have one. I have a lot of knives.
Are you good at how do you practice with your knife to protect yourself?
No, I just
throwing knives.
I have one everywhere in the house.
Like steak knives.
No, not like a pocket knife, like big pocket knife.
You just have them stashed. You have like taped under counters and.
Well, no, I just
you have like spring loaded ones that pop out of the wall when you like elbow it or something.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. I got to work on that. I don't have any guns either. If you want to rob me, I'll have an air pistol. I'll tell you what that'll hurt.
My wife won't let me have a gun.
Not even an air pistol?
I've asked her and she won't let me have a gun. Something about me being unstable.
Something about needing constant supervision, probably.
Right.
I don't have any guns either, but a cheap pistol sounds cool.
Oh yeah,
that's a good phrase too. It's like
that sounds like a good name for a band.
Like if you see a hot broad walking down the street, like goddamn, she's hotter than a $2 pistol, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
She was hotter than a $2 pistol. She was the fastest thing around. God, who was that? That's gonna bug me now.
What's gonna bug?
That's a country song.
I think it's John Lee Hooker.
No,
and
I think Joe Diffie.
Joe Diffie, I met that guy.
She was hotter than a $2 pistol. She was the fastest thing around. You don't know. Dustin will figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure he still listens. May 24th, Section 28 passed as law by Parliament in the United Kingdom prohibiting the promotion of homosexuality, repealed in 2001, 2004.
So this law that was passed in '88 said we're not going to talk positive about homosexuals.
Just prohibiting the promotion. So like
in within the government or just in life.
I think just promoting it in general. I think
promoting. I thought you meant like you can't get a better job. Like you're saying we're not gonna say this is good.
Like you can't become like a gay boss. Wasn't that a CBS show? No, it's Undercover Boss.
You want me to do my imitation of a gay boss?
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's hear that.
We got to set the scene, right? You're coming in. It's every week, every Monday you come in with your drug money, and I got to count it. Okay.
Okay.
You're paying the boss your weekly stipend, right?
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, how's it going? You got my money, bitch?
Yeah, I do. I totally have your money, Bruce. I'm a little short this week, but by tomorrow I'll have it all. But here's what I got.
I don't have till tomorrow, big fella. We got to do this right and do it now. If not, if you're short and you can't give me the money, I'm gonna have to kiss your ass.
Come on, gay boss. Boss, just give me till tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to fuck you in the ass, big boy.
Whoa, Bruce. Okay, look, this is all I have on me. Give me 2 hours.
Take it all off. If that's all you have on you, take it off.
Insane.
Was it worth it?
I understand where England was coming from now.
Right.
Because you go around and you see big posters everywhere for the army. We want you, join the army. You get the GI Bill,
right?
Gastrointestinal. And then, but sometimes apparently back then you couldn't have posters promoting gay people either.
Huh. Well, how would you promote your parade?
I don't know. You ever been to a gay pride parade?
No, nobody's ever invited me. I'd go.
Yeah.
I'd fit in well.
I feel like it's a lot of, there's that for sure. You'd blend right in. You'd be like, where's Blake? He's like, he's standing right in front of you. He's like, oh, you fucking blended right in.
He's the unicorn.
I feel like there's a lot of oiled asses
sure,
at those kinds of parades.
Sure.
I don't know. I do spend a lot of time thinking about that. Also on May 24th, John Mishita set a record for fast talking, 586 words per minute.
Is that the Micro Machine guy?
You know that it is.
That's cool. He was good.
Yeah. I learned so much more about Micro Machines than I ever thought I would, and in such a small amount of time than I thought I would.
Right.
Because that guy is like John Mishita, 90-second commercial. You got to tell everyone.
Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
You got to say everything there is about Micro Machines.
Did you ever have any Micro Machines?
I had a couple.
Yeah,
not many.
It was I had Hot Wheels, and you could push those around, but the Micro Machines you really couldn't do anything with. You could barely hold on to them.
Yeah, they look cool, but they're a little smaller, and they weren't as like
detailed.
They weren't as detailed, but they weren't like as easy to like roll around as like a Hot Wheels or a Matchbox car. But is there any like world record though that you think that you could achieve? 586 words per minute for this guy.
That's crazy.
Do you want to try to say how many words in a minute?
I don't know. I don't think I can do very many. I'm a slow talker.
Yeah.
I usually don't say them right. You all right?
Yeah, my foot fell asleep. What?
We don't bore it. That was good.
It's okay. Pretty funny, man.
People would have laughed more if you would have hit it right when I said it.
I wasn't ready for your. I'm never ready.
Comedic genius.
Yeah, like when you have good timing, I'm never ready for that. All right, so you don't even want to attempt to do a world record.
No, that seems. Why embarrass myself?
Any more than you already do?
Right.
Okay. Do you think he did the words that he said in the minute? Do you think they had to have all been one syllable words? And do you think they were like? Do you think he wrote out sentences, like real quick sentences that were all just one syllable word apiece?
Well, and I'm wondering, like, to set that record, like, did you get to write the script yourself, or did you like somebody wrote it for you? You were handed it, and you had like 10 minutes to practice.
Those are all good questions.
Anybody can say a lot of words, but are you like reading them and everything?
I'd love to get John Mishita on the phone.
Oh shit, yeah.
Shitta. That guy had. You know what? That's probably why he's the world's fastest talker, because he got so much shit in high school for his name sounding like the word shit.
Yeah.
That he probably had to figure out a way to be a fast talker, and maybe he just went at home and they had no friends, and he's like, what can I do to set myself apart from everybody else?
Talk
in the world?
fast.
Probably talk real fast.
Yeah. Or kill people. What?
I don't know about that. Is John Mishita on your kill list?
No. He's almost there. I mean, what's the point? I'm not going to waste my time on somebody who's almost dead.
Am I on your kill list?
I said that in the text chain that nobody in the text chain was on my list at this time.
Why aren't you making eye contact with me?
Because
Why don't you tell me that and look me in the eye and say it?
I have never looked you in the eye, Jason. When was the last time I told you I looked you in the eye?
When's the last time you told me that you looked me in the eye? Probably never. So to your point, you're right. Hold on a second. There, another well-timed joke. And with that, those three very specific and bizarre facts, we are back in 1988. Why did we choose to watch Badlands 2005? Do you know?
Yeah, it was 3 simple criteria.
All right.
It's been the criteria for many, many years with us. A, it was a pilot that never went to series. Whether it aired or not was irrelevant. Number 2, we had to find it on the internet and watch it in time.
Yeah, that's true.
And then number 3, it had to be free.
Can't do it.
That's fantastic. You're probably asking yourself, where can I find the entire episode of Badlands 2005 to watch for my dumb self? Well, you can do so by subscribing to Couch Pilots on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube. Blake?
You know what to do, Tube. I wish you would just put some punctuation in there. Wasn't your mom a teacher?
Prepare for takeoff, please.
I don't know what she does with her time.
What did she do?
I remember a lot of crustless sandwiches.
Aw, she loved you.
I remember a lot of what's that?
Back ribs?
What's that oven mitt that would make casseroles? Hamburger Helper.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's about it. Oh, and she would fold my blue jeans.
for sure. Eli does it wrong when he folds mine.
I wear blue jeans almost exclusively. I don't know about you. Boy, did my foot bore you to sleep there? Yeah. Summary: the pilot, a U.S. Marshal, and his by-the-book cyborg partner are tasked to escort 2 mail-order brides to a remote desert area where their husbands work, but a local bandit leader has other plans for them.
That's a pretty good summary. Yeah, I would give it a B+.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one too. It's it probably could benefit from a semicolon. Do you ever use a semicolon in your sentences? When's a good opportunity to use a semicolon?
Let's see, my dad was an English teacher.
And oddly enough, your dad doesn't have a semi. He only has a semi of a colon.
Well,
right
no,
now, right?
my stepdad was an English teacher.
Oh, stepdad.
Yeah.
He's got a full colon.
Sure, yeah, from all I know. It's if you're changing the pace of a sentence.
It's like a real long sentence, though, right?
Yeah, it's like a super long sentence, and you're like, "Hey, hold on, don't pause,
Yeah.
because don't pause.
Keep talking,
but
know that things are going to change. After this dot and a little curly thing at the bottom of it, things are going to get different.
yeah, changing it up.
What's your favorite punctuation?
I would say the ampersand sign.
Ampersand? Yeah, that's a good one.
It's hard to draw.
It almost looks like a cursive G. Like in the wrong light, I think it could be confused for a cursive G.
If it was in a lineup, people would be mistaking it for a G.
Yeah, yes, that's how the wrong guy gets executed.
Wah, wah, wah.
What would happen to you if you were in a jail like say you're in jail for 40 years, right?
Okay, it was in jail or prison?
Prison.
Federal or regular state?
Federal. Oh, okay. You'd probably really like that, though, being in federal prison.
Sure.
But like...
What did I do? Because this is a big
the part of the thing is you didn't do anything.
Oh, okay. So I'm in there unjustly.
But say you're accused
Okay.
for pillaging a hot dog vendor.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd go to prison for that?
Violently pillaging.
Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's who you want to think. So you're in jail, and then years later, like, we got DNA evidence that says Blake didn't do it after all. What would you want society to do for you if you were to be released after living over half of your life in
Sure.
prison?
Give me my own television show.
Okay.
Talk show.
Well, just like a chat show?
Yeah.
So you'd have guests on?
Uh-huh.
What would the guests be? People on death row? Let a brother know?
Once again, back is the incredible rhyme animal, the uncannibal, the public enemy #1. No, it would just be just people I liked, and I would just, the focus of every show is just to remind everybody that I was innocent. Yeah. Innocent.
So that's it. You wouldn't ask for any money. you would ask for nothing else but your own syndicated talk show.
No, because by the time they found it out, I mean, my life was over, right? I don't have anything, and getting a bunch of money. It was by the time the state actually gives it to me, I'll be dead.
You just want to make it known that you're innocent and say that every episode.
Yeah, because my pride is in the God's honest truth is more important than money.
Well, I think that's exactly what I would do too. Yeah, I think you took that answer right out of my head.
You think so? You take the money. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Interesting Facts. This is the part of the show where Jason has scoured the internet to find out about facts about this pilot that you probably, most likely, definitely didn't know. Please don't taint anyone's experience. Keep your opinions of these facts to yourself. Jason, please proceed. Is the button broke?
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy. Ooh, yeah.
Hold on a second. I think this...
You don't know.
All right, interesting facts. Badlands 2005 would have been the name of this series for ABC television, but of course, it was not picked up. This episode's name would have been The Brides of Lizard Gulch. Release date, August 29th, 1988. Fact.
That's in the middle of summer.
Wake up. Wake up, Blake.
I'm awake. It's
Sleepyhead.
August is the middle of summer.
We got another show to do after this. We're like halfway through this one.
Hard times.
You don't know, baby. Yeah, it's in the summer. That's exactly right. August is in the summer, famously. Shot in some of the same places that Max Rockatansky race across, like the Bork-Wilcannia Road, Broke Hills, and the Barrier Highway in New South Wales, Australia.
That was in Australia? I thought that was in Arizona or New Mexico.
I would have guessed the same if I didn't know that.
Wow.
Fact.
Dee Dee was the only person that understood what you were saying.
South Wales.
No, I'm talking about like the
New
stuff,
South Wales.
No, the stuff you were saying before that, like the places.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Bruce Rowland recorded the score in Los Angeles, which was all electronic except for guitars and percussion, and Louis Morley was responsible for building the mechs inside Gus Mercurio's Swiss Army hand and inside Miguel Ferr's android chest.
Okay.
Fact. It's a burp, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Apologize to you.
I yawn, you burp.
Directed by George Miller, best known for his many TV projects like Homicide, Matlock Police, and Division 4. Just to be clear, this is not the George Miller of Mad Max fame.
Oh, that would have made sense.
Well, there's a lot more that's going to make sense in here.
Oh, okay.
Written by Ruben Letter, who is credited on such popular projects as Magnum P.I., The Incredible Hulk, and Kung Fu, The Legend Continues. Fact. Badlands 2005 takes a lot of inspiration from Mad Max, so much so that it features Hugh Keys Byrne, who played Moondancer in the pilot, who was Toe Cutter in Mad Max, and would one day become Immortan Joe in Mad Max Fury Road, the one that came out a few years ago with Charlize Theron.
Yeah, I've never seen any of them, but I know of them.
You haven't seen any of them? Fact. Badlands also used stunt coordinator Glenn Boswell from the Road Warrior and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, as well as a lot of the crew. Art director Rob Robinson and assistant directors Tony Wellington and Nikki Long. Fact. Stars legendary character actor Miguel Ferrer, who was also
cyborg.
He was a cyborg, and he was also featured in not Kung Fu The Legend Continues, but Kung Fu The Next Generation, a failed pilot that we watched.
Okay.
And Sharon Stone.
Young Sharon Stone.
As Alex Neal.
Right.
End of interesting facts.
Was this before or after the pussy? This was before, right?
This pilot was
pre-pussy?
Was before the pussy.
Pre-pussy. This is pre-pussy Stone.
This pilot. Just to be clear, I just want to put a fine point on it. This pilot took place before the pussy. Can you imagine being Newman sitting there looking at her crotch? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I'd give it a whirl.
Wayne Knight is busy bugging Jerry, trying to be best buds with Cosmo Kramer. Then he's looking right into Sharon Stone's vagina. Is that what noise? What noise is that?
That's the vagina.
That's what the vaginas sound like?
It was windy in the studio.
I don't know. That I must have never seen a vagina outside then. So if a wind,
You never seen a vagina outside?
if a wind takes it, that's what it sounds like?
if it's
Tubular.
God damn it. If it's in the right direction, the wind's coming from the right direction.
If it's facing north by northwest?
Yeah, and if it's out there, if it's all hanging out.
I had no idea. So, as much as like you don't like certain noises and cues and you're particular about, it's very bizarre that you do that noise.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
It is
How bizarre?
off-putting.
Is it?
That is a bad
You don't
noise.
like that?
I don't love it. Here's the thing. I don't accept it, but I tolerate it.
Much like
It sums up a lot of what you and I do. Twitter responses.
Twitter responses. Please
stop that.
I wonder if Jason's got some glitter responses. Oh, that was kind of the same thing. Do that again.
Okay.
Do that when
Oh my God. That's my nails on a chalkboard. That's my kryptonite. That's my Achilles heel. Okay, yeah, we did actually get Twitter responses, as we do anytime we watch a pilot. And sometimes, most of the times we don't get Twitter responses, but I still put all the work in.
Sure. Yeah.
Unless it shows from like the 50s or the 60s when it's very clear that everybody involved is dead.
Yeah.
But what we do for every episode, we think about the writers, the creators, producers, directors, and the stars of these pilots, and we say, greetings from the Couch Pilots podcast. We talk about TV shows that had only one episode. Next up for us is Badlands 2005. We're excited to watch it, and we're wondering if you had any fun or interesting info you'd want to share. Thanks. We hope to hear from you. Well, a lot of times you think, you know what I'd love to hear from? I'd love to hear from Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Sharon! What a colossal.
That would be a catch.
Oh my God, Miguel Ferrer. And I would argue that Miguel Ferrer would be the best one to hear from now, basically because he's dead, and that would mean that somehow you and I had reached over to the other side to
Right.
communicate with people,
Right.
not unlike a Ouija board.
Sure.
What would a Ouija board sound like?
You can't. That
That's the noise you make.
You didn't do it at all.
I was trying to like do the noise, but also give you the cue.
Oh, okay. Let's do it again.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, I was trying not to overdo it. I didn't want to overdo the bit.
We need to get a clean cut of you doing that and add it to the soundboard. Oh, he's gonna do it. Great. Okay, but yeah, that's traditionally who you think of. Who's the biggest star in this? Who went on to be the most famous person from a pilot? But I would argue that the person you really want to hear from is the writer.
Sure.
The person who created it. The person who put pen to paper to say, from whole cloth, we're going to create a thing.
Right. This is from my brain.
The director is kind of in charge of everything. Producer gets all the pieces in motion. The actors bring it to life. But there's one person.
The Foley guy does all the...
The Foley guy. Oh, God. Beats off right into a mic, apparently. I got to get a Foley job.
Did you ever see Police Academy 17?
Did I see what?
Police Academy 17.
No, who's in that?
Huh? That black guy goes...
Michael Winslow?
Yeah.
Ugh. What noise was he trying to replicate in Police Academy?
A pussy in the wind.
That's when it got
All
crazy.
we are is pussy in the wind.
Well, we did in fact hear from the writer, a fellow goes by the name of Ruben Letter, and I hope I'm saying that right. It's Letter or Leader. I don't know what it is. We'll find out. And his response is, "Really? Are there copies still out there?" And I said, "Yes, sir. Looking forward to watching it." I said, "You've written some classic television. What do you remember about the making of Badlands 2005? He says, "I probably remember too much." And honestly, a lot of times people say, "I don't remember anything."
Right.
And those people are probably telling the truth.
Right.
But we're talking about the creator. This guy probably had a lot of...
stake in the game.
Absolutely. He says, "I probably remember too much. Anyway, I'm in the middle of craziness with the release of my novel, You Might Feel a Little Prick. And kind of my dark and gory love letter to the medical and health insurance cartels. So if okay with you, I can respond on the weekend. Maybe you'll have seen it by then."
Oh, that's awesome.
I said, "That would be great. Thank you and congrats on the novel release." He says, "How about talking on Tuesday or Thursday of next week? Let me know." Or, you know what? We could just give Ruben a call right now.
Let's call him.
And then number one question is, how do you say your last name?
I think you probably should research that before you say that.
Well, let's get to the call and find
right.
out. All right. Very lucky and excited today to have the writer of this week's pilot, Badlands 2005, with us. It's Ruben Letter. Is it Letter or Leader?
No, it's Leader.
Ruben Leader. Okay.
I've got that all my life. My dad always used to say, "Would you call somebody named Peter Petter?" It's Leader.
Okay.
And I was thinking, I worked in Germany a lot, 3 times, and I thought, man, I got lots of relatives there. I kept seeing like Pels and Letter on all these stores. Right? And it turned out it just meant like furs and leather. So my name means leather in German.
Maybe you had some leather workers in your ancestry, huh?
Apparently.
Well, for those not in the know, Ruben is a renowned writer and producer and part of what I would consider a Hollywood dynasty, as his father Paul and sister Mimi are both successful writers, directors, and producers as well. And it looks, Ruben, like you kind of grew up in the business. Was working in the business always part of the plan? Was that always the goal for you?
Not really. No, I had a couple of things going on for me. I was a really good baseball player. And so I seriously considered, pursuing that. I was a good pitcher. Left-handed pitchers, especially in high school, where other kids don't get to see lefties that much, you sort of dominate. But I came to the realization I wouldn't be that good. And, but, I love playing and did love playing. And I also was a musician. I was in, do you guys remember a singer, songwriter named Jackie DeShannon? She wrote Needles and Pins. She wrote Put a Little Love in Your Heart.
Put a little love in your heart. I got that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the world needs now is love.
Yep. Sure. Yes. Totally.
All right. So, I was always a musician. My parents gave me, classical piano lessons when I was 5, and but then I so I played keyboards, I played guitar, I played bass, drums. And so I hooked up with these guys in a band, and one of them was Jackie DeShannon's brother. So she wrote and produced us. We did a single. I think I was 16. And then, when you recorded, you had to go into a studio, and you couldn't step foot into the door of a studio unless you were in the musicians union. So,
okay.
So she did a single. I think we sold a couple of thousand copies that were sort of on the edges of the charts. But I left them and was in tons of other bands. And then I was, excuse me, then I was a pickup musician for a long time, playing, backing up singers in the Holiday Inn circuits and stuff like that. So I realized that was a dead end. And writing always came easy to me. So that sounds pretty egotistical, but no, it did. And so I love movies. And so I had no help from my family. My dad was completely out of the mainstream, as you can probably tell from his credits. And so I just kept writing stuff and got an agent, and he was sort of like, do you ever see that Woody Allen movie, Broadway Danny Rose?
I know the name. I have not seen it, but I definitely have heard that. I've heard of it.
Yeah, about a hustling agent. And this guy was, he would just knock on doors at every office and every studio, and he got someone to read my scripts, and the Hulk responded, the Incredible Hulk. Before that, I'd done a bunch of low budget stuff, but nothing mainstream. So the Hulk calls me up and has me in, and I pitched them. And first of all, I'd never seen the Hulk, and so I went there early on a morning and asked the secretary if I could have a bunch of scripts. And so I read them, showed up for my meeting, pretended I knew the Hulk, and pitched the story. And they worked on the outline with me, the staff. And then I didn't know any better. They put me in the script on a Friday, and I turned it in Monday morning. And they went, yeah, okay, great. Do you want to be a story editor? And I said, what's a story editor? And that's how it started. The mainstream part started.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely have some mainstream hits, and I'm going to talk about those in just a moment. But when you talk about how writing came easy to you, when you were out there performing in the Holiday Inn circuits and with the different bands, were you just playing music, or were you writing songs as well?
Yeah, I wrote a lot of songs, but mostly I was backing country singers and stuff. It was really, So I wrote stuff for the bands I was in. But basically playing piano and backing country singers is not that hard. So I always had a cup of tequila on the piano and just got through it. There's some pretty strange places I played at. Hobbs, New Mexico.
Well, you said it was a kind of a dead end for you, but it sounds like you probably had a pretty good time doing it, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. But then, I'm like 21 or something, 22. And so it got exciting. But after a while, it was sort of like I could see it was sort of, a dead end.
Sure.
And so I drifted out of that. And I still play. And over the years, I got together with the people I played with, and we would jam. Man, I just got on Facebook, mainly because of the book. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I got on Facebook, and I run into the rhythm guitarist. So I haven't seen him since I was 17.
Wow.
I left that band. And so you can do the math and figure out how old I am. But so I haven't seen him in over half a century. He was a rhythm guitarist and vocalist, and he's a kind of a struggling music producer still, and talented guy, but a really nice guy. And he tells me that the drummer, Jackie DeShannon's brother, died a month ago. which is the downside of Facebook. It's probably the downside of getting old as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I look into these things. I try to investigate, try to come up with some good questions to ask. I didn't see anything about this musical background, so that's really cool. I appreciate you sharing that with us. I had mentioned your father before, Paul, who is passed away now, but you and him had the chance to work together and co-write on the 1976 movie Ape about a giant rampaging gorilla starring a young Joanna Kearns who would go on to star in Growing Pains. Now, when I was looking into this, I found some of the old artwork and some of the old posters that had some Korean artwork and stuff in there, and I loved that. I love that style of artwork. How was it working with your father? Was that something, did you guys always decide one day we need to work together, we need to collaborate on something?
No, it was more like he wanted the family involved. He always did, and and it was just sort of, it came naturally, like not like a Mickey Rooney movie. Let's put on a show. I'll paint the barn. It was just sort of organic. But writing with him was weird. I mean, he was a really good director, and he was an incredible mentor to people. I mean, he had this incredible background he was a child actor on radio. And back he was born in 1926, so I guess in the 30s. And he enlisted in the Army in 43. He was 17. He had to get my grandmother's permission. And he served in Patton's Army, liberated Buchenwald. And this is probably not the tone you want, is it?
No, this is all very interesting. Thank you for sharing this. This is great.
But my mom, she was. This will go somewhere. Trust me. My mom was Belgian, and she was. I mean, her family was arrested. She was arrested in Brussels. And the family was killed. She survived. She survived 5 camps, including Auschwitz, and they had a death march out of Auschwitz when the Russians were coming from the east. And she wound up in Bergen-Belsen, where she was liberated by the British. And my dad was a combat medic, and I found this weird thing when I was cleaning out their house with my sisters. I found this German Army T-shirt and undershirt, and it was just stained with blood. It was in a manila envelope, and I'm going, why does my dad have this? And he was I know he assisted in field operations and stuff, surgeries. But all right, I got off the track. Anyway, he liberated Buchenwald. He was the first troops in there, and but they didn't meet there. They met in the late 40s in New York City, when he resumed his showbiz career and was a struggling actor and singer. And here's where it's going. For years, he tried to write this. He did write a story about their story. How it's kind of a cross-cutting story. You see what happens to my mom. You see what happens to the guy that represented my dad. And he never. The biggest frustration of his life was never getting that made. And so when he died, my sisters and I, we thought, well, we'd get it made. We'd do what we could. I got a job in Australia, not this one. I've been to Australia a couple of times, but the weaker thing, and this is getting back to your first question, the weakest thing about my dad was, and my sisters will kill me when they hear this. So, the weakest thing about him was he had no patience for writing. He would sit in the yellow pad with a yellow pad at the kitchen table at night and just write. And about 90% of writing's rewriting. He just wrote, and that was it. And so writing with him was weird. Because once he had it down, he had it down. He thought that was it. And I said, hey, we can make it better. so our conflict wasn't like violent or anything, but we did, but we got it done. Um, yeah, so it was a little strange working with my dad, but um, I didn't do it forever. I think we wrote 3 scripts, and then I sort of moved on to my own writing because I wanted to write originals, and I wanted to make it in mainstream show business, and to do that, you have to write scripts that tried to be a little something.
Sure.
And he was writing to make these mega low budget, ultra low budget films, and he would do something like Ape or I Just Remember Mama in order to pay for the ones that were close to his heart. Like he did a movie called Going to Chicago with Cleavon Little. Do you remember him? He was in Blazing Saddles.
He was the lead, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, he died young. Yeah, so he did a movie called Going to Chicago, and that had to do with the Chicago riots in '68, way before Aaron Sorkin was born, probably. But anyway, so he would do the Apes of the world and I Just Remember Mama to pay for the other ones that were close to his heart. So he kept doing that to the end of his life, and meanwhile, he would just give Mimi and Geraldine, the other sister, and me a lot of shit because we all kind of made it mainstream. Geraldine, you left her out in the beginning, but she began as a casting assistant on Cheers, and then wound up casting Cheers, and she got like an Emmy and casting society awards for casting Arrested Development, and she's a senior VP of casting at Paramount Studios now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a question, Blake?
Well, I was just curious. You talked about how your dad, there was passion projects that he had, and as a writer, do you have to sometimes do projects that you're not really deeply passionate about to pay for, or to be able to do the ones that you really, really want to do? Is that part of being a writer? Is, hey, I got to write some scripts I may not want to write just so I can finance, or I can get to where I can do the one I want?
Yeah, Blake, that was exactly the case with him. The one I was talking about, Going to Chicago, it won the very first year they had the Santa Barbara Film Festival. It won the Audience Best of the Fest Award.
Very
cool. Some of that had to do with a lot of us recruiting winos and shit to vote, but bribing people. But no, it actually won legitimately, and yeah, I've taken some weird, jobs, because I had a couple of kids to support. Before I got a real check, I was tarring roofs and painting houses and playing piano. With singing opera singer waiters and stuff in an Italian restaurant. I was doing everything. And so, I looked down on the Hulk when I got the job and went, really, I'm on this? But the paycheck was incredible. In terms of what I was making with tarring roofs.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. That kind of bleeds into my next question, that, you were a writer and producer on such notable television series such as Walker, Texas Ranger, the 1990s Flipper reboot, Kung Fu, The Legend Continues, Magnum PI, and then you already mentioned The Incredible Hulk. Obviously a lot of high profile projects there. Do any of those stick out as like a favorite of yours, or one that you really enjoyed working on?
Yeah, I'm probably most known, if I am still known, for Man, I got some water. For Magnum, I was the main writer on it, head writer.
What a cool show that was. How cool is Tom Selleck? Did you work with him much, or was it okay?
I learned one of your rules: no religion, no politics, no cops. He politically, he was in a different place than I was, but we had fun with it. And the one thing we really had in common was baseball. He went to SC with a basketball scholarship, I think.
Okay.
And so Magnum had a softball team, and he was left-handed, I'm left-handed. And they batted us third and fourth. And that's, basically a bunch of Samoans on the crew ran the team. And they weren't batting us third and fourth because I was a producer and he was the star. We were left-handed, and we played in this place called Kapiolani Park right off the ocean.
Okay.
And the wind, anything you hit in the air to right field, it was just like gone. The wind just like carried it. So they changed the rules and made it a ground rule double if you hit it into the trees. But we had that in common. We hung out. We got really into. I got into his character. The better I knew him, the better I wrote his character, and he appreciated that. We occasionally stayed in touch for a while, but it's been a few years since I've talked to him.
Sure. That's one of those shows that just never goes away. Not that it should. It had a very successful run at the time, syndication, and I think there's even isn't there a Magnum PI, like a new version on TV? I think it stars Jay Hernandez. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. It's bizarre. I don't want to trash it or anything, but I looked at it and I'm going, why'd they do it? Because they everything that was kind of cool about the other one, the chemistry with the cast and the writing, not just me, but the writing, I think we were maybe, at least I read some book written by some guy from Oxford in England. I don't know if you can write a whole book about Magnum PI, but the guy did. And we were one of the first shows to have what he called cumulative narrative. I mean, back then, every show had to, you got to get the bad guys in the end, and that was it. And then new set of bad guys next week. And we sort of broke away from that. Yeah, the stories had an end to them, but we used to fight with the censors. I wrote one script where Magnum let the bad guys get away because it was more important to do something else for a character he was invested in emotionally. And there were censors there. It was a weird universe. TV was so different. It was made so cheaply. 3-wall sets, no ceilings. The production values on TV today are just incredible. And we had to shoot shows in 6 and 7 days. Consequently, you had these long walk-in talks, as they were called, and then they'd stand there and talk for another 5 pages. That never happens in TV today.
Yeah.
So you had to write well to pull it, to make to stop people from being bored. So it was a well-written show. You mentioned Walker, and I got to say, I was there 6 weeks, and there was a reason. I didn't like the show, but the guy who gave me my first job on the Hulk was the showrunner on that show, and he had cancer, and he was hiding it from them. And he asked if I can, just go there. He physically couldn't do it, and asked if I can go there and just kind of help out. And I was really having a good run selling movies, selling spec screenplays to studios. And back to my parents very quickly. Yeah, so we sold the story of my mom and dad to Spielberg at DreamWorks. And then he came out with Schindler's List. And I don't know if he bought it to take it off the market or not, but it's never been done. We wound up getting a check, but we didn't get the movie made, which is still a regret. But back to Walker, Chuck Norris and Aaron Norris was his brother who produced it. The guy carried like 2 guns on him, would shoot holes in doors and stuff, and he's probably alive, and I probably should be quiet, otherwise he'll hunt me down. But yeah, so when the guy who gave me my first job died, I this might be karma getting me too. I left. I told him, look, my back really hurts. I really can't do this job, and CBS was pretty pissed off at me. And but I had 4 movies that were in like active development, and so I went back, and I felt I did my obligation to this guy who
Sure.
gave me my break. And but I didn't care for Walker. It was everything, it was retro TV. It was not anyway. CBS, I found out it was blackballed at CBS for quite a while. But yeah, so I see that in IMDb, and I go, whoa. And then I see another one that I didn't even do this for the money. I did it because I had an office at Universal, and the guy who produced Baywatch had a like a office about 2 doors away. He was a really good guy, really nice guy, and that's a show I never saw. I don't want to sound like a snob or anything, but I just wasn't into it.
Baywatch. You weren't into Baywatch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so he said, I'm doing Baywatch Hawaii and stuff, and you think you want to run the show for a couple of years, and I'm going, yeah, well, I'm probably not, but and so he said, could you at least write and direct one, and see what was his name? Hasselhoff. He's huge in Germany, man.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway, so I wrote one, but I got out of directing it, and but it's there on IMDb. Whole bunch of movies I did are not on IMDb, and good luck getting a hold of them. Anyway, I don't really care.
Well, I wanted to ask you a little bit too about Badlands for sure. I'm not 100% sure how some of this works, but was Badlands 2005? Was that something that you had written on spec, or was that did someone at ABC come to you and say, "Hey, we're looking to do something post-apocalyptic"?
Yeah, the latter.
Okay.
I was never that into sci-fi. I did a Star Trek that turned out to be sort of famous, but I didn't even like it. I put a pseudonym on it, which is ridiculous now because that was pre-computer. The studio. I was under contract to Columbia TriStar, and they asked me to do a show in the near future. This was in 87. So what is that in human years? Anyway.
Yeah, 33 years ago. 33, yeah.
So I kind of ripped off a Cornell Woolrich short story. He was a great crime writer from the late 20s and early 30s. And I put it in that kind of milieu. And I haven't seen it, as I've said, since it came out. It was the most expensive pilot Columbia ever did, and they were assuring me it was on the schedule, and I was going, cool. I'm gonna be a mogul. So the morning of the upfronts, where they decide what's going to be on and what's not going to be on, I kept getting calls from ABC executives like, it's on the schedule. No, it's off the schedule. And USA Today called me, and they're going, congratulations, man, your show's on the air. And by then I was drunk because I got a call about an hour ago saying, no, it's off the schedule. But the reason they gave me was it was really expensive. At that time, it was the most expensive pilot Columbia ever did. And you can see why. I mean, there's no
absolutely. Yeah.
There's one match shot where they drive into to whatever that encampment was. But all the stunts were real. That guy running across the top of the truck, man, that scared me. I'm thinking, man, just because I wrote that, the guy could die. It was really,
I look at movies like the original Alien movie, and you're like, man, that movie made in like the late 70s, early 80s, whatever it was, it looks incredible because they're using practical effects. They do everything today with a green screen, but you can absolutely tell that Badlands was done practically and that you're using real stunts. And one of my questions later on was going to be, why didn't this work out? Was it because the budget, from what I assumed, would have to be huge? And here you are confirming exactly that.
yeah, it was partly the budget, and I can't confirm this, but I mean, Sharon Stone, she worked on a Magnum in '81, I think, and so I knew her and cast her in this. And boy, could I have derailed her career if that thing went on there. Because I think the very next year she did Basic Instinct, but yeah, because she would have been a regular, she would have been the governor.
Sure, yeah.
And Miguel Ferrer was really a cool guy. You probably remember him from RoboCop. He was
absolutely, yes, of course. And that's another one of my notes too, is concerning casting. He had Lewis Smith, who's still working to this day, and yeah, obviously the late Miguel Ferrer, who's showed up before. I think he was on. You had worked on Kung Fu. The Legend Continues. There was actually a failed pilot for Kung Fu: The Next Generation, and he played the heavy in that. And he's such a great character actor. And then you couple that with how massive Sharon Stone would become. It sounds like my question was going to be, did you have any input or involvement with the hiring? But again, you kind of sounds like you did have a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I did, and I don't know where Lewis Smith is. I mean, after the project ended, Miguel and I became really good friends and stayed friends. But Lewis Smith, it was a job, and it didn't work out, and he moved on. No one ever officially told me this, and I kind of think it's bullshit. But they were blaming him, and I just looked at this thing. I told you I hadn't seen it since it came out, and I hadn't, and mainly because I have it on VHS. And, so I looked at it on YouTube, and expecting to see sort of retro stuff, and yeah, some of it has aged, and some of it is actually still pretty good. I mean, it actually is not bad at all. And what was kind of cool on YouTube was looking at the comments. There was like 35 or 40 or something, but it was like 100% going, what idiots? Why didn't this become a series? And I heard from one or two people that the network didn't like Lewis Smith, and no one told me that officially. And I don't know. I looked at this and I'm going, what's wrong with him? And I'm going, nothing. He was a decent actor. He did a really good job.
I agree. Yeah.
But his main credit before then was there was a mini series called The North and South, sort of a potboiler about the Civil War.
Yes.
Yeah. So it maybe was a combination of the budget, because we shot in Australia. We shot at Broken Hill mostly, where Mad Max was shot. And man, you want to get Australians to really hate you. Broken Hill had one kind of hotel, and it had like 3 slot machines in it, and I don't know, I put in an Australian dollar, and I hit a $700 jackpot, which no one had ever hit before.
Oh wow!
Man, the looks I got, man, some American comes down.
Some Yankee comes over and takes all of our dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, but they took all my clothes. I mean, that place is just full of red dirt. It doesn't wash out. It doesn't wash out of your skin. Man, it's a rough place to live. It got to 140 in some
Holy
place.
cow.
Yeah, I mean, it was unlivable.
Well, you mentioned just a moment ago, and there has been definitely comparisons to Mad Max, those series of films, and Badlands even utilized some of the same actors, crew, and locations. But I can only imagine that was largely because both were made in Australia. Can you speak to some of this and maybe and speak please to how did both of these projects end up with a director, two different directors who had the exact same name? That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. The George Miller we got was he was kind of coming off a couple of successful commercial features. The Man from Snowy River with Kirk Douglas, and do you remember a horse racing movie called Far Lap, which was huge in Australia? It was about a real racehorse, and anyway, they were international successes. And so he was viewed as wow, we got this guy for a TV pilot. So it turned a really nice guy and a good director. But and he was half Australian, but he lived in Australia at the time. No, I lived in LA, but he had come from Australia. But yeah, obviously I'm not familiar with Australian crews. I did like 3 projects there, but so there weren't a whole lot of crews, but in the 70s, Australian movies really underwent a renaissance, like Picnic and Hanging Rock, Gallipoli, all sorts of movies. Man, I met a really young Mel Gibson. He was like in his 20s.
Sure.
All the baggage with him I knew about later, but it was long after I met him.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. So the crews were great, and and I had tons of production experience. So I worked with an Australian line producer, and but they knew the crews, they knew the people, so certainly ABC and Columbia wanted it to sort of be Mad Maxian, and and with the sci-fi stuff, I mean, RoboCop, Terminator, all that shit was really popular then. So, man, this is like from Fred Allen, who was a comedian in the 40s or 50s, a radio guy. He said, television's the most sincere form of flattery. Basically you rip off shit in TV. That was his point. And so those elements were there intentionally, for sure.
Well, if the series had continued, would you have continued production in Australia, or would you move it to somewhere like the deserts of California or the Southwest here in the United States to maybe save money, or maybe it would have been cheaper to film in Australia? I don't know.
Yeah, it was cheaper to film in Australia because an Australian production company was involved, and I think it was Village Roadshow, I'm not sure. But anyway, they were really big, and they were footing some of the bill. And this is way above my pay grade, but my guess is they probably had huge profit participation in, especially domestically in Australia, also internationally. I'm sure they got a lot of that. And it was always planned to be shot in Australia.
Okay. Well, I will say that Blake and I definitely did enjoy the pilot. It had a great mix of the aforementioned like stunts. There was really good pacing, good character development, and thank God there was some humor. And I'll even say this, maybe even a little bit of silliness. Now, some of the action pilots that we see and some of the dramas that we watch are completely devoid of comedy. And we don't need a lot of humor in a drama, but for my money, a show cannot take itself too seriously. Is injecting humor into your projects natural, or do you feel like that's something you have to force in there?
Oh, no, it's totally natural. In fact, the opposite. I generally have to restrain myself, and otherwise everything would probably be like Airplane. Humor's really natural to me, and Magnum had tons of humor in it, and I mean, we did one episode that simply was about a softball game. There's no, we would do episodes. I mean, I don't know how old you guys are, but we would do episodes where like there wasn't a car chase, there wasn't a punch thrown, there wasn't a gun drawn, and this episode was about they were going to lose the state if they lost the softball game. I mean, that's literally what it was about.
You need a nice break in the action sometimes, right? You need to have a little fun and cut loose.
Time to breathe. You need time to breathe.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah, so there's humor in everything I do, and that answers that. The book. Should I segue to the book, or you want to ask me some other stuff first?
No, I was just going to segue into myself. I was going to say that now Badlands 2005, despite its name, like we had mentioned, was released in 1988. But your work does continue to this very day, including your first novel, You Might Feel a Little Prick. And I saw the trailer that you had sent me on YouTube. And again, I think we both were in the same boat here. We didn't know that books had trailers.
That was so bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a very interesting premise involving some kind of mysterious happenings at a Cleveland hospital. How did writing your first book come about?
All right. Well, it came about from experience. I think I told you I used to play baseball, but I played until my mid 40s. I still could pitch, and I always was a good hitter. And anyway, I don't know. It turned out not to be just kind of old man decay, but I wound up. I never got hurt at all playing ball, and I played full court basketball twice a week just because I love it. And basketball I was a pretty ordinary player, but baseball I was good. But around 45, it just went. Everything hurt. And so I wound up having a succession of back surgeries. I got more metal in me than like the Bionic Man. $6 million man.
Lee Majors, yeah.
I mean, I got. I have had 3 spinal fusions, 1 million operations. I have a cervical fusion. I mean, I look like the skeleton that Miguel played. It's really, and it turned out it was an autoimmune disease that's kind of rare, and it started in my spine apparently. Found this out years later when I finally found a smart rheumatologist who figured it out and ran the right tests. But it attacks various systems. It attacked my heart. It was really, it was incredibly fucked up.
Wow.
And in the middle of that, after my first fusion, I still wanted to work. And so I directed a movie. I wrote a movie that was based on a true event. In the early 90s, there was a ferry boat called the Estonia that went back and forth between Estonia and Sweden, and held over 1,000 people, and it sunk. And there was a big cover up over it, like, why did it sink? Because the waves weren't that bad that night. And so a producer called me, a German producer, just out of the blue, and she had done a documentary on it. And she said, I'd like to do a movie. And she came to LA and with just boxes of evidence or evidence she accumulated. But basically, her theory was that the Soviet Union was disintegrating in the early 90s. And so lots of these guys weren't getting paid. The soldiers weren't getting paid. So like various commanders were just selling weapons, selling shit, selling technology to anybody they could in the West, Pakistan. They didn't care. And so her theory was that there is Russian stuff, whether it be plans or weapons on that ferry, and hardcore nationalistic elements of the KGB, what used to be the KGB, found out about it, were pissed off, and meant to disable the ship and make an international incident out of it. And instead, they screwed up and sunk the thing and killed almost 1,000 people.
Something
And
so important that it was worth 1,000 lives, huh?
yeah,
Wow.
it was just. I mean, I incorporated the real documentary footage of them finding the bodies into the actual film, and it's just so hard to look at. But I think this is about my back, isn't it? Yes. It's the book. Yeah, there's a long way to it.
That's all right.
Anyway, I went over there, directed this thing, and I adapted her story into a screenplay, and then directed it. And Donald Sutherland was in it,
Oh, wow.
and Greta Scacchi. I don't know if you remember her, but she was fairly big in the 90s.
If I saw her, maybe I definitely know Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, you'd recognize her. I just put a filter on. Okay, I was going to describe Greta a little bit, but anyway, she's a terrific actress. Anyway, so after that, during that, shooting in the North Sea in the middle of fucking winter was really hard. And the crew did not, or the location people did not salt this one passageway back from this, a walk we had to take from one location back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking, and I just slipped, and it was like a stunt. I just went horizontal, landed flat on my fusion. Oh. And so I got through the rest of the movie, but then got home, and that led to more fusions, more back problems. And so I had this journey through the American medical system, which I guess almost everybody's had, or someone's in their families had.
Yeah.
And there's great doctors out there, and there's people in it who will just it's about money. Sure. I don't want to get political, but if you take the profit incentive out of medicine, like they do in Western Europe, things work a lot better. Because this is the part you'll probably cut, but I don't know why what's an insurance company bringing to the equation between a doctor and a patient? They're just making money.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
A doctor should be paid well. All medical care, all medical professionals should be paid well. And I mean, look what they did through COVID. These people 24/7, 16 months. Can you imagine the burnout on a lot of them?
Pretty unreal. Yeah.
I mean, they're heroes. So I met a woman who I married on that set, the art director, and like 2 years into our marriage, she was in great shape. I mean, she was 2 years younger than me, but like my daughter would go, wow, she looks way better than my friends, and I think, yeah, you too. And anyway, she gets pancreatic cancer just out of the blue on a movie she was doing. And they gave her 3 months. And it lasted 26 months. So I stopped working and took care of her. And out of those 26 months, there was hardly any good days. And here I'll go off on another thing that you probably want to cut too. But all the money that's spent on cancer, too much money, way too much of the percentage of the money they spend on cancer is not about finding a cure so much as finding a chemo that'll let you live maybe 3 weeks longer, or a month. Actually, it's 2.1 months is exact, kind of like what they consider a victory. And out of those 2.1 months, you're going to be hard pressed to find like a good day.
Yeah, it's a tough existence for sure.
Yeah. So after that, I got really, when he passed, I got really, really depressed. I wasn't answering my phone or emails or anything like that. I just sort of like was hermiting in this house by myself, and just me and my dog. And my sister, Mimi, she eventually kicked my ass and hired, and she was directing a movie with Morgan Freeman and Antonio Banderas, and it needed a rewrite. So I went and did it kind of in my sleep. It was a ordinary movie, stealing jewels from a museum kind of movie.
I saw that in your resume, and I will say the name escapes me, but it did show that was your only acting credit. You were in that film, is that correct?
Oh yeah, I played the pilot. Yeah, you know what? I was in Badlands too. You probably missed that. I was the bartender with that cowboy hat.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I didn't realize that.
Also in '92 and '93, I created and did one of the first international series for international syndication called Berlin Break. It was a post-Cold War spy thriller, and John Hillerman from Magnum was one of the stars.
Okay.
Nicholas Clay, who played Sir Lancelot, and God, what was that movie? Anyway, doesn't matter. He died really young of liver cancer because he was an alcoholic. But anyway, so it was a post-Cold War spy thing, and which I won't get into, but we did 26 episodes of it. And wait, why am I mentioning that? You just asked.
Well, I think what you're getting at is that your sister kind of kicked your butt into gear,
Oh, yeah.
and you had kind of you'd seen kind of the real negative side and greedy side of the medical industry between.
It actually was the acting question. So casting was really hard. We had a German casting director. We had a casting director in London. We had a casting director in LA. But for small parts, it was just not worth it to spend the money to bring actors for a small part from LA to Germany to Berlin. And so I acted in a couple of those as well. A long way to go for that, but yeah. So
But is that kind of between the experience you had personally with your back, and then also your wife and everything that she had endured with her pancreatic cancer, you saw probably the real negative side and a lot of the weaknesses here in the United States in the medical industry, and did a lot of that influence and help? Because it also says based on a true story. Is it kind of all these different experiences, all this different information help form that novel?
That's exactly it. Yeah, I originally wrote it as a screenplay. I never considered a novel. But here's what happened. My sister wanted to direct it, and she was really hot coming off of Deep Impact and things like that. And she gave it to her agent at CAA, who's going to remain nameless. And what happens is they give it to the story department, and they get a thing called coverage, which is like a book report. And Mimi was able to sneak. You're not supposed to get a copy of those, but Mimi knew somebody and got a copy of the coverage. And it couldn't. Man, this will sound egotistical, but it couldn't have been better if I wrote it myself. I mean, it ended with like the highest recommendation. And so I'm thinking, shit, we're gonna make this movie, and I'm gonna get to say what I want to say, and because it was my story in there, but also my late wife's, and the only way I could write it without it just being an angry screed was to make it dark and funny, and gory. I'll go off on a quick tangent. Do you remember a movie called Theater of Blood with Vincent Price? He played Diana Rigg from the Avengers. He played a really hammy Shakespearean actor who killed all his critics in using scenes out of Shakespeare to do it. It was a really campy movie in like '67 or something like that.
It sounds familiar. I definitely have not seen it, but yeah, of course, everyone knows Vincent Price. Absolutely.
Yeah. Check out Theater of Blood. You'll just enjoy it on that. I hope you'll enjoy it on that level.
Sure.
But anyway, I didn't want my heroes to be murderers, but I did want to get back at certain people, and so they were thinly disguised, and so the guy calls me. The agent calls me after getting the script and that incredible coverage, and he goes, my brother's a doctor, and they're not like that. And what do you say to that?
Yeah.
You haven't done this so long. It's the cliche is it's a collaborative medium, but what that really means is you got to make compromises.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm polite and I'm going, well, I don't know your brother. I'm writing about personal experience here. Everything, the script's pretty hyperbolic and it's over the top. And but there's dialogue in there that I heard verbatim to me or to my wife, and verbatim, and this is funny. He pretended this, and if you wrote this in the player, they probably wouldn't have put it in. But he pretended he was rear-ended. He called me from his car, and he pretended he got rear-ended and hung up on me.
Wow.
And he called my sister later and said, "Your brother's really an asshole. He's like impossible to work with." And all I did, and I'm polite. You're kind of trained to be. Otherwise you don't work.
Yeah.
You get a reputation as being like difficult, and that doesn't mean you don't stand up for what you think is right. You do, but you do it in a way that is inclusive, I guess.
Sure.
But I just went fuck it when I heard that, and I called my manager and said, "Don't send this out anywhere," because I had a really good run in that period of time of selling some spec scripts, and like to Tarantino's company, another one to DreamWorks, Paramount. And I was really hot for a while, and I was doing a lot of production rewrites and like movies you've heard of. So the spec screenplays I wrote myself that I sold, they would get homogenized because like 10 executives would read them. And then these executives would get fired and other executives would come in.
Yeah.
And their life experiences was watching other movies and getting an Ivy League MBA and or watching TV shows, and no real, they never tarred roofs, they never met real people. They're generally Hollywood executives are people of privilege, and so I'd watched a couple of stories I'd written just get rewrite. And when a new director came in, they had different vision, right? And but basically, what happens to scripts is they get homogenized to where they really are familiar, and the beats are familiar, and you feel like you've seen the movie before. And if you don't have the power to fight that, then the script becomes mush. And I didn't have that kind of power, so I did have the power to go, no, don't send this out anywhere. It's done. I was fortunate enough to have a long career, and money was not, a roof over my. I don't have any big vices. I don't have any vices really, except I love music, and I got a lot of music, and I like books, and but. It's not like I collect artwork and shit. It's it didn't cost me anything, and the story was really important to me. So I wrote it as a novel, and in the middle of writing it, I had 2 major operations again.
Oh wow!
And, but general anesthetic's an evil thing, man. when you come out of it, like the next few days, you can fake it. You can pay your bills. You could like talk on the phone and sound like a normal person, but you got to be really sharp to write. You just can't like fake that. And so that's because so I would, the first that stuff stayed in me about 4 months each time, and I would look at the stuff I wrote during those 4 months and go, this is crap, it's garbage, and start
Wow.
over. And you got to be sharp. So it took me about 3 years almost, and so it's where I really want it now, and basically I just want everybody possible to read it. And if I wrote it as a memoir, it would just really be nothing but anger and vitriolic shit. But you got to entertain people, and it's really funny, and it's ultimately poignant, and it's ultimately hopeful as well. But go ahead, man.
Well, since it's not 100% nonfiction, but it did borrow a lot from your experiences, is it still as cathartic as you would hope it to be if it wasn't just strictly 100% factual? Do you still feel a level of a catharticism?
It was completely cathartic, because even though some scenes are just way over the top, the germ of those scenes was reality. And there's like a dickectomy in that scene. It's that, which obviously didn't happen, but it could have happened.
Well, where can people find You Might Feel a Little Prick?
Fucking Amazon. It's in bookstore. Well, it's not in bookstores because of COVID, but it's where you can buy online. It's on Amazon, but the publisher, they didn't expect this, but the first run like sold out, and I got really good advanced reviews. I was sort of like, you don't expect much, but Kirkus and like major places gave it really good reviews, and like one reviewer compared it to Pat Chayefsky's Hospital. In terms of the satire elements, the satiric elements. But so it's on Amazon. You can download it. If you have a Kindle, you can download it. The paperback, third-party sellers hijacked it when they sold out and bought a few copies and are really overcharging. And so on Amazon, if you go on it now and want to buy the paperback, which is supposed to be $14.99, it'll say out of stock. But the publisher said, no, Amazon's making us do another print run, so it'll be available. It's available on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Noble. It's at if you want to support independent bookstores, it's at a place called bookshop.org. Okay. And I just it's not a money thing for me or an ego thing or like I wrote a novel, man, that's impressive. Put it on my tombstone. No, it was just cathartic to write it. And I found out I really love the process as a writer. I really love getting inside, in screenwriting, you can sneak stuff in, but you basically got to write what the camera sees, what the sound can hear. Anything else is just like, it's not going to be on the screen.
Right.
It's just bullshit. So in a novel, you're free. And now in the beginning, I was too free, and it could become really self-indulgent. So that's another reason I ripped up the first draft. And so you got to apply the same kind of discipline you do when you write a screenplay.
Well, it sounds like the book's off to a great start, so congratulations. And I'll kind of wrap it up here by saying that I think a lot of times when we have interviews or we get responses from people are like, what would the stars of the pilot have to say? But I'm going to speak for both Blake and myself when I say that the best info always comes from the writers and the creators because they care about the project. It's their brainchild, and for a lot of the actors, it's just another job. So I do want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today. We really do appreciate it, and just continued success to you. What an incredible series of stories, life, and career you've had.
Jason, thanks. Blake, thank you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did I get that right?
Yep, Jason and Blake.
Jason, you were talking, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jason was saying all that stuff, right?
Yeah, that was me. That was me there.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, well, I really appreciate that, man. I really do. And let me ask you guys something. You obviously love doing this. What brought you to going to like pilots that didn't sell?
Well, I think it was born out of looking to continue to work together in a capacity where just basically an excuse to hang out with one another. We say, what is something, because I feel like a lot of podcasts, and all this may be cut. I'll just say we might cut some of this. But a lot of podcasts I find are drafting off of some kind of previous content. I can't tell you how many horror movie podcasts there are, or about whatever TV shows. We said, what's kind of a unique take on that, and who's really talking about pilots that only had one episode? So couple that with the information available out there, and then Blake and I's personal love for each other, and we have a lot of guests on the show. It's just a reason for a couple of middle-aged guys to get together and have a good time and maybe say some bad words and drink beer.
Yeah, that's really cool, because I thought, wow, this is really niche.
It is very niche.
That's our problem.
Who's going to give a fuck about that? But you guys make it work. You do, and it's really cool.
Thank you very much.
That means a lot. Thank you very much, sir. Ruben, again, what a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks again for taking the time to do this. And seriously, continued success with the book. And I'm going to keep an eye out for that. I'm going to pick up a copy myself.
Oh, I really appreciate it. Could you, if you do, and cut this out, because this is fucking shameless begging. But even if you hate the thing, could you give it a really 5-star review on Amazon? That would be awesome.
Of course.
For sure.
Absolutely. Of course.
I shouldn't have done that.
No, but, it's good. It's all good.
Just read the book. That'd be really cool. Is there a way of sending me a file of this, or should I just try and record it off of my computer, or what? What do you do generally if people want to have the interview?
Once Blake gets this all edited in, he said he can send you the file over. So once he's done with that, I'll reach out to you here on Twitter like I have been, and we'll figure it out from there. Okay.
Well, I just give you my email address because it's not hard. It's ruben.leader@gmail.
Okay.
Yeah, REUBEN.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, we'll make a note of that, and then, like I said, he's in the next week or so. He'll get this edited into the previous episode that we recorded, and we'll send the whole thing over.
All right, cool. Hey, it was really a pleasure talking to you guys, and I probably talked too much, and I know I went off in too many tangents, but
no, we loved it. We loved it. Thank you very much. We loved it.
Tons of great stories. What an incredible life. I hope you're proud of the work you've done, because it's what an incredible story.
I'm proud of some of it.
All right. Well, we'll let you go. Thank you again, Ruben, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Holy cow.
That was awesome. I love when we actually get a hold of people like that had like passion for the project. You know what I mean? And the writer obviously has the most passion of all. He wrote it.
I would agree. We've had some good interviews in the past couple of years. We talked to that guy from Pistol Pete. You remember that? The sheriff, the deputy or whatever? And then that one girl who's like, I'm quitting acting. I'm going to go back to school.
Right.
You remember her? She was in that Emma Roberts Fearless thing. And her segment had been cut from the pilot. We didn't even see her in there. But she remembered shooting it and talked about it. And then one of my most favorite of recent was talking to Marcus Monroe. Yeah. Right? But I tell you what, Ruben Letter right up there. Hopefully I said that last name correctly.
Couch Pilots Wall of Fame, for sure.
Thank you so much for talking with us. Always a pleasure to honestly talk to the people who created a thing. Not who just acted or directed. That's fun too. But someone who created it. And that's exactly what
Do you think
Ruben
someday
did.
some podcaster is going to try to get a hold of us and say, oh, we found we dusted off the archives of Couch Pods, and do you remember any of it?
Short answer is no. Long answer is no.
You don't think we made that big of a difference in the world?
No, we're just entertaining ourselves. It's like we've pulled down our pants and we're looking at our own assholes in the mirror. That's what we're doing. Okay, let's put 10 minutes on the clock. It'll probably be more like 22 minutes.
Nope, 10 minutes.
You always say that.
It's the contract.
Actually, okay. I know you always push to go quick. I'm just gonna let you take it.
The whole thing? I have to do the whole thing by myself?
I'll chime in a little bit, but I'm gonna let you just go for it because I know you want to speed through this.
I don't want to
portion of the
speed
show.
through it. I just think that nobody wants to hear us go through the pilot beat by beat.
Conversely, I think everyone wants to hear every detail. Go ahead and start off. Let's break down the pilot of Badlands 2005.
All right, so instantly, right off the bat, we're in the desert highway, obviously in New Zealand, right?
New South Wales.
New South Wales.
But I thought it was the Southwest too.
Yeah, it looks like Arizona, New Mexico.
There's a full intro to this, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Well, every time we start this part of the show, everyone always skips over the very beginning and like the intros and shit. But go ahead.
No,
please.
go ahead.
As I say, it feels like VHS. It's the very low quality.
Sure.
And then we see it's a full intro with credits and synthy piano music.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say about the beginning.
You did a great job. There's a semi, like a three truck semi, and it looks kind of like Mad Maxed up, special, it looks different.
Yeah, a lot of welded on armor and spikes and mounted guns.
Post-apocalyptic vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we come to find out that it's hauling water, which we find out is very, very precious.
Well, there's an intro with a couple of screenshots of exposition. I wrote them down. You want me to read it?
No, go ahead.
It's very quick. In 1995, a severe drought forced Americans to flee the West for the cities. Water became more precious than gold. Now, in 2005, settlers are coming back, meeting new challenges and age-old adversaries. There you go. That was the setup to the show.
You did great.
It's just basically just me pausing.
You typed the whole thing?
Reading and then typing out exactly what I saw.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened to me last night when I was watching this. All right?
Can I guess?
Oh, you can guess, but you won't be
Drunk and fell asleep.
No.
Well, right?
I was laying in bed watching it. No, I was not even that. And I was watching it, and the next thing I knew, my wife was standing over me going, "We were supposed to watch Handmaid's Tale together. It's 11 o'clock." And I was like, "Oh, Jesus." So I watched it, the first half of it.
Badlands?
And I fell asleep. And so today I watched the second half at work, and I have more notes about the second half than the first half.
Would you like me to take the first half some of it? Okay. So there's a large vehicle's going down the highway. It's got two guys in there. It's a massive armored caravan. And there's a younger guy, and I think he says it's his last run, which doesn't come into play at all here. But they're transporting water, and of course, along this deserted highway, water bandits are now on their tail, and they're in some specially made vehicles for this pilot. Like they did some work on these cars, right?
Right.
I wonder what the budget was for this. Maybe Ruben will know.
That's a big thing for me in this altogether. Is the expense of this is going to be ridiculous? Because wasn't Waterworld like the most expensive movie ever
at that time? And it laid a big egg.
But I'm saying it's the same thing. Like to look post-apocalyptic, it's going to cost you something. Mostly if you're going to have to do it every week.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So two fellas, they're in a vehicle, which they call the Green Monster. You got Rex, who's Miguel Ferrer, he's a robot, and then Macbeth, I believe, right? Wasn't that his name, Macbeth?
I had Garson.
Probably Garson Macbeth.
Garcon.
Okay. French Macbeth. And they're called up to help the caravan, and these two guys are the leads of the show.
Because he's a U.S. Marshal.
Yeah, they're out there patrolling the highways, making sure people stay safe. Their vehicle, because they're sitting side by side in the vehicle, and the vehicle splits into two, and here begins some red hot action.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of action at this beginning this scene. There's wrecks and everything, and there's obviously a lot of stunt work.
Well, Rex takes the lead, and he gets shot up, and his vehicle totals and explodes, just gets ripped apart. You're like, oh, that guy's dead.
Because you don't know he's a cyborg yet.
Not
right?
yet.
Yeah.
But then Macbeth jumps from his vehicle onto the caravan, and the driver had been hit by a bullet or something, and he jumps in, and they help the younger guy who was on the top of the vehicle, firing little, whatever. What do you call that? Turret, perhaps? A gun turret? Have you never heard the word turret before?
I've heard turret.
He was on a gun turret.
Oh, okay.
Well, Macbeth reports back to the command center where Sharon Stone, she's Alex Neal, I believe is her name. And
She can kneel on me.
what's that?
Huh?
High five that shit. Macbeth goes to collect Rex, and this is where you're like, oh, he's not a man at all. He's a robot, and he's in pieces.
Missing an arm and everything. And
He's in real rough shape, and he tries to put them back together, right?
yeah. Just like Humpty Dumpty. So they go back to the home base, right?
Yeah.
And Garcon is talking to Alex, and she's like, "You know what? We think we're gonna give you a promotion. We're gonna, you've done a lot of great work, but we're gonna give you a promotion." And he's kind of like, "Not really. I don't want one."
He likes what he's doing.
Right? And he's like, "Just one more assignment."
One last hurrah.
And that hurrah would be to escort some mail order bribes out to some sector, some water engineers out in Sector 32 or whatever.
Now, you're in your third marriage currently.
Yes.
Did you ever consider
Yes.
a mail order bride?
Yeah.
How
A female order bride. Oh, male as an M.
No, did you ever consider a mail order bride?
No, a female order bride, yes.
How far did you get in the process?
I found out how much it was going to cost me, and like the biggest part of it is you got back and forth. You got to spend money. You got to go over there back and forth. And then you finally bring her over here, right? And you've spent all this money on her and traveling over 3 or 4 times and then you get over here and she gets her green card or whatever,
Yeah.
and she learns how to speak English,
Right.
And then once she has her green card, she says "fuck you" and she takes off on you.
You think that'd be in the contract somewhere?
You would think, but it's not.
But if you are contractually supposed to marry someone and there's money involved, you would think that the contract would be like, yeah, you can't divorce the guy.
You would think. I think you have a better chance on an arranged marriage than they really can leave. But when a mail order,
Like in India.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I would have gotten one from Sweden. Obviously, got the dental work done. There's a lot of Swedish.
When I think
people
about
have
mail order
teeth.
brides, I think about Russian broads.
Yeah, I don't want a Russian broad because they are mean.
So can you get a mail order bride from anywhere?
Oh, I think you get one from the Orient, Sweden, Russia,
The Orient, what does that cover?
Eurasia.
Great continent.
It was.
But you would pick a Swedish lady, given your druthers.
Yeah, even though I like Asian women.
Do you ever wear druthers when you're having sex?
Molly doesn't like when I do that.
Yeah, but you don't mind it.
I don't know.
You prefer wearing druthers.
Right.
Yeah.
Keeps me focused. I remember on Bull Durham, he had that picture. Susan Sarandon gave him that garter belt to wear to make him help him focus when he pitched.
Never saw it.
You never saw Bull Durham.
I'm not gonna fucking watch a movie. Baseball is boring. I'm not gonna
It's
watch
not
a
about
movie.
baseball.
What is it about?
It's about minor league baseball players.
That's
It has Susan Sarandon.
that had the word baseball in it though.
That's how her and Tim Roberts met. Is that his name, Tim Roberts?
Yeah,
they were married.
Love Tim Roberts.
Yeah, was that his name? Tim Robinson.
Robbins.
Tim
Yeah,
Robbins. That's how they met and got married.
From Bull Durham.
Yes.
Well, now I gotta watch it. If my favorite Hollywood couple met on a movie,
And so you see Susan Sarandon in some negligee.
I love.
Back
Did you
before
ever
she
decide
before she got bent up.
bent up? What does that mean?
Just old.
Did she get in an accident? Oh my god! I didn't even read.
Tony Robbins pushed her down the stairs.
Usually, I keep up with the trades. I didn't realize she'd been bent
Do you
up.
not get People magazine anymore?
I read the first 2 pages of Entertainment Weekly. I feel like I get pretty well informed, and I watch TMZ
Yeah.
on 1.5 speed, so I get through it quick.
You must have missed it. That episode.
Did we ever define the difference between lingerie and negligee?
I think lingerie is like more appropriate, not as revealing. Mm-hmm. And the other one is like the slutty stuff.
Slutty. Which one? Negligee is sluttier?
Negligee is slutty. Lingerie is
Seductive?
Yes,
Erotic?
well, not right. Seductive, elegant.
Yeah, I like that.
I wish I could have took your picture right there. Talk about a creepy fucking.
We talked about that before on the show too, right? Like lingerie for men. I'm still working on that.
You got this. So
I bought a whole ream of silk.
a whole ream.
Yeah.
Good lord, you're gonna take you forever to go.
You know a
through
lot
that.
about ream, don't you? What can I learn from you about it?
Reamed her.
Damn near killed her.
Okay, so
Alex is a governor, apparently.
yeah, governor of I don't know.
Are they in a police station?
I thought that's what I thought.
I thought it was
It was like a silo building.
a water allocation center or something.
Could be.
I don't know. Maybe the lines are. Maybe things drastically change with law enforcement. In the year 2005. I can't wait for 2005. In the year 2005.
So Rex and Garcon, you next see them. They're in their little 2-car to 1-car thing. It's like connected. It's all fixed.
Yeah,
Fenway, right? Green Monster.
I've been there.
Yeah,
I've told you I've been there.
And they are.
I've sat in the Green Monster. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
You love baseball. It's obvious.
I took a tour there. I
Big
was like,
fan of Bull Durham.
I had my arms crossed the whole time. I said, I fucking hate baseball. My friend Kevin dragged me there. I said, I fucking hate this.
You're like, come on, I hate baseball.
But I did get to sit in the Green Monster. It's cool.
There you go. That's pretty high up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're just fucking with me as we can't finish this.
No, I was sitting in the Green Monster.
I know. Okay, anyway. So they're escorting these 2 mail order brides who are good looking chicks for 2005.
Yeah, the hair is always a telltale sign of someone's of when they're from and their attractiveness. It was fine.
Sarah was prettier than Joni, and Joni was a sluttier of the two.
Oh yeah, she was wearing all the
Yep,
lingerie. How do you say it?
lingerie.
Oh man.
But she was flirting with Rex, and so they're driving. They're taking them to their destination. They got to stop for the night, obviously, and they're camping out with no tent or anything.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and so
were they in the same car from before, or did they get a new car?
they had to have gotten a new one. But nobody kept calling it.
Is it the same style though?
Yeah, it's exactly. It
looked like a 2-seater though.
Yeah, it would split. No, it was split.
Okay.
Maybe this was like the sedan version.
Okay, I kept thinking like the Batmobile, and how it's like would split apart sometimes in the show. No, you remember that?
It didn't split apart.
Sure, dude. One time, Batman was going down to like a thin alley, and so like the sides of it fell off, which seems like a huge waste to me. And then his vehicle became very narrow to go through a narrow alley. And then
Was this in a movie or the TV show?
I think that was in Batman Returns.
Oh, that's why I thought you were talking like old school Batman.
And then in one of the Nolan Batmans, the Batmobile comes apart, and there's like a motorcycle inside of it.
That's stupid.
What?
It's unrealistic.
Yeah, a lot of this shit we do is unrealistic.
But anyway, so again, Joni is like flirting with Rex. She doesn't know he's a cyborg. So Garcon and Sarah, they go over by and that's where we find out about the Green Monster. And all of a sudden you hear Joni scream. And they come running back, and come to find out, she's like, he's a cyborg. She was trying to fuck a cyborg. And he's
one last hurrah before she got married.
yeah. And he's like, it's not my fault, you know.
Well, okay. This is my question about this scene. When Garcon, I thought his name was Macbeth the whole time. Macbeth and Garcon don't even sound similar. When he goes back and she's like screaming, "Oh my God, he's a robot!" and he goes over there, was Rex zipping up his pants?
That's what I thought.
Does he have just like a piston down there? Like I've seen those videos where girls are getting fucked by machines on porno.com, and like those girls seem to be having a hell of a time.
Oh yeah,
this girl should be like, "Oh yeah, you're a cyborg."
Right, for sure.
But then my question would be, if Rex is so logically minded, why would he do that? He wouldn't get any pleasure from doing that, or is he like just looking to get lubrication for his parts?
I think he was trying to do his civic duty.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's part of his contract.
Going to Pound Town
is fucking these mail order brides.
Damn right. He's like, this is the last time she's gonna have any fun.
I wish I was a robot.
So anyway, so they get there and they drop off these 2 young ladies to their water purification guys, and it just seems real like she's like, hey, come give me a kiss, and it just seems really weird and awkward.
Yeah,
and
I mean, they leave and they're like, I think something was up back there, but I did not think anything was up. I saw these guys receive these women, and this is a future that I don't understand and will never be a part of. It's a post-apocalyptic. These guys are like water engineers or some horse shit. And I was like, okay, this just seems like a transaction.
Right.
Nothing seemed weird to me, but Garcon was like, something is weird to me.
Yeah, because he saw what was that guy? Jerry Epstein in the back. He's backlit on that shot.
I didn't
Back
realize
in the
that.
background, and so that's why
I was still thinking about the robot's penis.
Hey, you do you.
Thank you. And that's oh, ouch. That's part and parcel looking my asshole in the mirror. So they turn around, and this is what they say to the guys before they leave. It's like, hey, do you need anything else from us? It's like, nope, we already signed the paperwork. And then he's like, I got a weird feeling on the way back. And he calls Sharon Stone. He's like, hey, did you get the paperwork for these guys for the marriage? He's like, no, you have to get a witness, and you have to do it while you're there. He's like, well, we didn't do that at all. Something weird is going on. This is the proof I needed.
So they head back, and all of a sudden, that's when we see the hippy dippy weatherman. All right.
No, it's not. Listen to this. He turns around to go back.
Right.
And then like instantly in the next scene, they're in the facility freeing some of the captives.
No.
Later, they come across the hippie guy after they make an escape.
Are you sure? I don't think so. Because they go back, and that's how they find out about him. Is they go to the train.
Okay.
So the weatherman, the hippie guy, leads him to him based off of the Grateful Dead song.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong?
Casey Jones.
Am I wrong?
Well, my notes say that they turn around and they get there instantly. They free the captives, and they're told it was Johnny Cantrell, the guy they're looking for. So then, after they free those guys back at the facility where they
you're right. No, you're right.
Then they go looking for the girls.
You're
but
right.
It was just funny how like holy shit, we're like 27 minutes into this 43-minute pilot. We gotta cut some shit quick.
Right. No, you're right. Now I forgot they went back to the original place, and the
they
guys
freed
were tied
them,
up.
and then they find a hobo that was like, I was a hippie, and my name's Moon Dancer. This is the guy who was also in the Mad Max film.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, I derailed this.
No, it's fine. Macbeth then starts to like jive talk him, like they're I guess
just to get information from him.
Yeah, I gotta speak to him at his level, and so he's like, "Yeah, man, the girls are that way." He's like, "Thanks, brother, man." You know, like.
And one of my favorite parts of this is when right before they meet him, he's on the side of the road, and they zoom by him really fast on the highway all by themselves.
Yeah.
And they show like a picture of him from behind. They start to stop. They have parachutes, but yet they have brakes.
Got to use them both, baby.
They squeal on the brakes, but yet they have parachutes.
Got to use them both. It looks cooler, doesn't it, to have a parachute?
It's pretty cool.
So they go down the road, then they stop and they see the trains. Like that's where they are over there. They're by the trains. So sort of looking at it from a distance, and then the guys are like looking over there, and they use that Casey Jones song as a reference, right?
Right.
And then the guys sneak over to the area, and it seems to be run by like Hell's Angels. I think they say Hell's Angels.
Oh yeah,
at one
they
point.
say it must be like the 2005 version of the Hell's
Hell
Angels.
yeah.
But yeah, and so they go sneak in there, and they find.
They're instantly taken captive. Too,
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean, why not, right? You don't have that much time to go. They're taken captive. They put it in, and they find out that Sarah is this bad guy's sister.
Johnny Cantrell. Her name is Sue Cantrell.
Sue Cantrell, or Sue Canchi.
Haha. They're like, why did they kidnap you? It's like, well, my brother, he's dead now, but he used to work with Johnny Cantrell, and Johnny got busted, and my brother didn't, and they have money stashed away, and they think I know where it is.
Right.
So everything, all of this, was just a
It was
big
all set up.
Yeah,
It was
just to get her.
They call it a rouge.
Oh, I would love to apply some rouge.
On your butt?
Are you going to be doing that in Vegas?
Applying a rouge? No.
No. Okay.
Too hot.
Okay. So the Rex busts out of the place where they're being held captive, and he walks like through the bad guys, just getting shot to hell.
Oh yeah, because and it's not hurting him at all.
He falls apart all the time in this show,
With just like a shake of the hand.
Yeah, and here he's just taking on waves and waves of bullets.
Right.
I don't understand it.
He also busts through a concrete wall to get him to escape.
Yeah, then that's where he walked in all that fire after that. And it literally fired because at one point we see him as a charred robo-corpse.
Right. And so, of course they gotta figure out a way to get out of there, right?
Like, we got to get back over to the Green Monster.
Right. So they find this train, obviously, because we're at a train depot, and they're gonna like figure out how to get it started. But they get there, and Rex is there with no skin.
And by the time they're there, Sue has decided to help them.
Right.
It's like, I betrayed you, but now I'm on your side again. They're like, all right, you can be with us.
Yeah,
and
right.
they see fucking Rex as a robot.
It looked like he was from the Terminator.
Terrifying. The Terminator, it's like he's this shiny chrome, robot, and he's got these red glowing eyes. But here, Rex looks like a robot, but he's got like human eyeballs and teeth. It's fucking freaky as hell. You reserve that kind of look for a bad guy.
Right.
Rex scared the hell out of me,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying to you.
So we had this big long scene of like the escape scene or / get 'em scene. And Sarah, Sue, whatever you want to call her, she ends up shooting her brother in the back.
Kills him dead. Johnny Cantrell dead.
So they swiftly go back, and Garcon is talking to Alex, and he's like, I don't want to leave. I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to take the promotion.
Yeah.
And he's like, what should we do with Sarah? And she's like, well, she did do these things wrong, but she did help us too. So maybe we'll just send her back to her regularly scheduled mail order bride job.
Maybe we'll force her to marry that guy.
Right.
And then Macbeth's like, or Garcon or whatever, he says, as it relates to cyborgs, you need a human out there because you can't program a hunch. You can't program a feeling. He says, I need this job. And so Rex is rebuilt again. And then Macbeth meets up with him and says, hey, I'll buy you a drink. He's like, I can't have a drink. I'll short out.
Right, and they walk into the saloon. I love it.
Oh, my God.
Ding dong.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
Turbulence. What went wrong here? What is it about Badlands 2005 that the good people at ABC said, no more?
I instantly, right off the bat, it was way too expensive.
That's huge.
That is a huge deal, mostly for something that's not established. You didn't build up to it. You didn't become more and more expensive as this is right off the bat. Hey, this is a heavy dollar sign.
And you know what? It's not even like I don't feel like they built a ton of sets for this. Maybe a couple sets, but the vehicles seemed expensive. All the action, the explosions, the stunt work, that shit is expensive. You can build Central Perk and get the ugliest fucking sofa you've ever seen, have 6 idiots sit around it. It's not going to cost you too much until they all demand $1 million an episode.
right.
But up to that point, it's going to be a pretty cheap set.
Right.
Here you're destroying vehicles every week. Things are exploding, flipping over.
And all
That's cost money, baby.
Yeah, the price of a mail order bride itself.
Oh, don't get me started. No, seriously, do get me started. I'm very lonely.
Oh. Lonely.
I ever play that song for you?
He's so lonely.
What would you do to improve it? Make worse effects?
No, I would. I wouldn't have complicated the. Well, it seemed like it took so long to get to the big scene, and then they rushed through it. Like if you're going to spend that kind of money, you want to see a lot of action, like MacGyver, right? You don't want to spend 45 minutes getting to the 10 minutes of explosives. Get us there quicker.
If this had survived, I think you're just dealing with different adventures out there on the road. But I would love to see if it got into some of those cities that they talked about. These really I guess they were overcrowded cities.
Yeah, like San Francisco, like it wouldn't accept any population anymore.
Oh yeah, they did mention that. Yeah, so I would love to go to one of these cities, or like maybe they built huge walls around the city.
What was the show with Kurt Russell?
Escape from New York and Escape from L.A.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Escape from South Wales.
Oh man, that'd be great. I'd watch that every week. I tell you what. I wonder if they shot it in Australia because it was cheaper. Maybe.
Could be.
Or maybe they just said, we like Mad Max so much, we'll just use the locations and a lot of the people involved with it. And guess where they all are? In Australia.
Right. I never knew that until today. You told me also an interesting fact.
I didn't know anything about Badlands until about a week ago. If I were to improve this, though, myself, I don't know. I like the tone of the show. I thought the actors were fine. The lead guy was a little just kind of
he was just there
milk
for looks.
toast.
He was there for looks.
Just an average kind of.
Just a good looking guy. Didn't have acting chops.
You can stamp that guy out, dime a dozen. No offense. So maybe he did a fine job. It's just there's nothing like outstanding but like Miguel
Don Johnson.
Oh, I love it, Don Johnson.
No, he's like a lot like Don Johnson.
Oh, I don't know,
he's some
man.
eye candy, but not a very good actor.
Oh, I love Don Johnson. What a piece of man ass that is. He's probably 65, 68 years old.
Isn't he on the new Keenan
He's on
Thompson?
Keenan Ivory Wayne's new show. I think it's called In Living Color 2. They tried to bring that back.
Dose.
The Sharon Stone character, I mean, we didn't get a lot of her in this.
No, we would get more of her later on.
Miguel Ferrer, he's always good whenever he shows up in something. And he's got like an interesting look about him. And then I like the idea of like robots being mixed in with people, but the how durable the robot was all over the map.
Sure.
You know?
Whatever was convenient for those situations.
Shoot the shit out of him, somehow char him to a
hand
crisp. Yeah.
His dick falls off.
Or a heavy wind comes by and he loses all his toes for some reason. Yeah, there's no consistency there. But I mean, that can be played for comedic effect, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, she's getting stiff.
As we start our descent,
Dude.
please make
Not
sure
that kind of
your
stiff.
seat backs and your
Dude?
tables are in their full upright position.
All right. This is an IMDb, of course. It was played on television. What do you think people from around the world rated Badlands on a scale from 1 to 10 decimal points in play?
5.3.
It's a 6.0. That's from 40 ratings. I couldn't find any critic reviews, but there's a couple viewer reviews. 6 out of 10 scars from Bands About Movies. How did I miss this? Sure, it's kind of silly, but I love the idea of Macbeth. Thank God, Macbeth. Being obsessed with the idea of the West, because he did. He watched like cowboy VHS tapes and what have you. He being obsessed with the idea of the West that he only knows from old movies and TV shows, and any post-apocalyptic movie that ends with Miguel Ferrer becoming a T-800 style robot and unleashing a barrage of bullets is something that I'm totally going to enjoy. Oh yeah, it's written by Ruben Letter, who also wrote Ape, which is true. He did write that. What is Ape? Is impossible to say.
Really? We should ask him.
We'll ask him about Ape.
What's Ape?
We will have asked him about it. You love apes, don't you?
Yeah, gorillas.
You're an ape boy. 2.5 out of 5 scars. This is set in 2005, but nobody ever drinks Sparks or listens to Let's Get It Thug Motivation 101. Very inaccurate. I don't know what any of that means.
Didn't make any sense.
It's almost like I didn't read any of these before copying and pasting them and then just reading it live on the show.
That wouldn't happen. You're too thorough.
Review by Jackson, 3.5 out of 5 stars. If I were human, I think I'd be having a good time. Just a casual and extremely cheesy Mad Max ripoff directed by George Miller. No, not that George Miller. It's pretty silly, but I enjoyed it. You can tell just because it was low-budget ripoff, it still wasn't totally half-assed by those involved. Also, it's less than 50 minutes, so it's worth watching no matter what. Okay, let's just say, hey, listen to Couch Pilots next time when we talk about Badlands 2005. You're probably thinking, my God, it's an hour and a half.
I did think it was
Right?
going to be, yeah.
Isn't it nice, though, sometimes to go in there thinking it's going to be 4 or 5 hours long and it's like less than 50 minutes?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to definitely be awake for this.
Canadian Superman says, just 5 months ago. Wow, I used to be a teen in the 1980s and I never saw this. Sad it never turned into a series. So much potential. S29 says, this would have been great to be picked up as a full series. Would have watched the hell out of it.
Wow, that's aggressive.
Darren Eric says, I love you. I've been looking for this online for years. Thank you. I'll read one more here. Jonathan E. Baez says, I remember seeing this and recording it on VHS way back when. It had Miguel Ferrer, who had just been in RoboCop at the time. The one scene I've always remembered was Rex in his endoskeleton form.
There you go.
Absolutely terrifying. My God.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11, and the temperature is...
I've always said I'm scared of commitment.
For your safety
And robots.
And robots.
Exoskeletons.
Yes.
Just their exoskeletons.
This is what happens when I think about robots. I go, ooh, like I got the shivers,
Put a
but
coat
it's
on.
fear.
Put a coat on before you look at a robot.
Hey, you put a coat on it.
What do you do when you watch Futurama? You're just cold all the time.
Freezing cold. So many robots in there. Now we grade Badlands 2005, and we do it with a very specific scale. Do you want to talk about the scale?
Yeah, scales 1 through 7, and it's based off of the television show Wings and their characters. 7 being the best, that's a Brian Hackett, and a 1 being worst, that's Roy Biggins. There's more in the middle, but Jason never remembers them, so we just keep
I always remember them.
It's because you have them on the screen.
That's a big part of it.
But yeah, so that's how we rate it. Jason, You watched this pilot. You've
did
watched
watch it.
many a pilots.
Almost 300.
We're on the 29th year of the show. What do you rate Badlands 2005?
I feel like I've been riding that middle rail for a while, but I'm going to give it a 4. I like that it wasn't like we need to be an hour and a half. I like that.
Right.
Just be 45 minutes. It's fine. That's what the show would be anyway if it got picked up, right?
Right.
I like the robots. You know what?
They make you shiver, but you like them?
It's like being in a haunted house, right? You're not really in danger, but you get the feeling of it. You get the thrill. That's what I like about seeing robots on TV.
But if it was in your house, that's a totally,
Get out of my house,
that's a
robot.
fucking different story.
Not in my backyard.
Isn't your lawnmower a robot in a way?
Oh, my God. I just mowed the grass yesterday. It didn't come up once. I think you're right, though. Don't robots become sentient? That Stephen King movie?
Yeah, they learn from you.
Maximum Overdrive?
Never saw it, but yeah.
Starring Emilio Estevez.
So you're giving it a...
I give it a 4. This show is a little silly, but I think it knows it's being silly. And it's got like... I kind of like the synthy soundtrack, and there are parts where like music would come in, like when Danny Tanner would get on one knee and he'd explain to his daughter the lesson of the episode on Full House. They'd have that cheesy music come in.
Right.
There's parts of this where they had cheesy music come in, and it's kind of, I don't know if they're playing it for comedic effect. Probably not, but there is some, like, I think intentional and unintentional fun and silly stuff about this pilot.
It didn't take itself completely serious.
Absolutely. And you cannot, even in the most tense situations, this is not a goddamn, who those Safdie brothers? You ever see Uncut Gems? You know that film, though, with Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems?
I mean, I know of it, but I haven't watched it.
Very tense film. Almost no reprieve whatsoever.
Really?
It really is just grinding that chalkboard, baby. This doesn't do that. This has fun with what it's doing, right? There's guys being shot, but you're not seeing gore and guts and explosions. It's a nice, gentle PG-13. It's a fun watch. It wasn't great. It is sure as heck wasn't terrible. It kept my attention for 45 minutes. I give it a 4. Captain Philip, rest assured, I turn towards you. How do you rate Badlands?
I didn't hate it. I agree with you. It had some lighthearted moments. Any show that has mail order brides being delivered to men is pretty fucking awesome.
Got the mail order bride bump.
Love that cyborg. I'm gonna give it a 4 too. I didn't hate it. You know, I probably could have gotten away with just watching the first 20 minutes and not waking up ever. Mm-hmm. But I went back and watched the rest.
Just
of it.
as those mail order brides signed a contract to be with those men, you and I have signed a contract to each other,
sure,
to faithfully and devotedly,
and the state of Illinois Pilot Bureau,
as God is our witness, through sickness and health, we will watch these pilots to their completion with your 4 and my score of a 4. We close the book on Badlands 2005, and we will never speak of this show again.
Yeah.
But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of the Jackie Bison Show. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. An animated show about a bison with his own talk show, modeled after the Jack Benny Show. You can find the entire episode of the Jackie Bison Show by subscribing to Couch Pilots and SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube, and you know what to do, Tube.
Great job. Great job.
Deep breath.
That's a tagline you did.
The YouTube thing?
Yeah. Pretty good.
I came up with that.
Right.
Do you know that? No one said that before me. No one ever said, you know what to do, Tube.
No.
I feel like it was just one of those things in the ether, and I just kind of plucked it out of it.
Just like a nice fresh plum.
And then like every time you say it, you're like, of course. Of course that's a saying. Of course this has always existed, and it just took someone with hyper intelligence, moderate good looks to pluck it and present it to the world, which is what I have done.
Right. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. What would happen if you would contact the show, you think?
You can contact the show. You can go to couchpilotspodcast.com. That's your one-stop shop for all your Couch Pilots needs. It has a link to our Instagram, our Twitter, has every episode that we've ever done. There's a good picture of the two of us on the front of the main page.
In the old townhouse.
Yeah, but back to back.
Yeah, that's how we used to kiss each other back to back.
Remember those days we used to do that?
Do it.
Hell yeah, man.
and it's got searchable. You can search by words and all kinds of stuff. So it's the one-stop shop, really.
Go there.
We are on Spotify. All the episodes are on there too. iTunes, it doesn't have all the episodes, but you can go check that out.
Leave us a review. We never say that to people, but leave us a review. If you like us, give us a nice rating. I noticed that we have a rating of 1 star.
Really?
Yeah. Who do you think would do that? Probably someone you used to date?
Oh, I thought you meant total, like altogether.
No, I think it's like we're at like a 4.5 or higher.
Somebody give us a 1,
But,
huh?
but yeah, you can see all the like 5, 4, 3, 2.
See, I don't
1.
have iTunes, so I don't know.
Someone's gave us a 1. Who do you think did that?
I have no idea.
Probably someone you used to date.
Probably. I don't know.
Probably someone I used to date.
We can delete it. Oh, you know who it is?
No, I have no idea.
Oh.
I have a pretty good idea.
Oh, really?
No.
Someone used to date. You used to date, or I used to date?
I was trying to blame you, but like I'm the one who dates people. You don't date anyone. You
call it dating, huh?
What I do? What do you call it?
Risk management.
Flyer picking up of flyers.
No, risk management.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk in what I'm up to off the clock. This is what I'll say, that if you contact the show, you will get frequent flyer points. They are good to be redeemed, goods and services rendered, right?
Yes, for sure.
There's surprise prizes. There's soiled underpants, aviator glasses that we can sign or not sign. It's up to you.
You're right. Some people have requested not to sign them.
Some people just want a nice pair of sunglasses,
Sure.
right? We do appreciate everyone who listens to the show. Go to Patreon and give us your money. That'll show us that you really appreciate us. This beer that we drink is not free.
No, it's not free, folks.
I think we're still in the season where you've committed to like giving me a compliment.
Yeah. I
Do you have one locked and loaded?
Sure, I do.
I'm looking at you in the eye.
Yeah.
I believe that you have it ready.
No, yeah, I do. I would say that one of your strong points is you're a very hygienic person. Like you never smell bad. Like you're always put together. You're never disheveled.
Are you joking around?
No, I'm serious. I'm completely serious.
Why are you smiling?
Just because you're like staring me down.
I was trying to see if you're pulling this out of your ass.
No, I'm not. I've already got them all written out. I've already got them all written out.
Okay. That's smart. That's smart. You know, it's funny. It's funny
When it takes you this long to figure them out, you got to write them down.
Yeah.
No.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that you've designated 30 seconds at the end of each show this season to give me a compliment. Can I tell you about a time? Did I tell you this already? Tim Wasson from the Challenge Program.
Okay.
He contacted me and he said, "Hey, you're a crazy person, and you have bottle caps for some reason." And I had a bag of bottle caps, a big bag, probably a couple hundred in there. He's like, "Do you have any that I can buy from you? My wife is doing a project." Did I tell you this already? And I said, I got a big bag of them, and you can just have them. I don't want any money for them. And he's like, all right, we'll figure out time to get them. And then it turns out he's like, I'm going to send my wife to your house to pick them up. So that's fine.
Nice.
So I'm at, oh yeah.
He's offering his wife up for a big bag of.
This is a very, I would say, a very decent proposal. Anyway, he's like, Friday morning she'll be there, and I said, fine, I'll just put it in my mailbox, no problem. And so I'm talking to a friend of the show, Mathology Phillips, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a vehicle pull up to my house, and I had forgotten to put them out there. And so I work from home, and a lot of times you used the word disheveled earlier. I was very disheveled. I saw that she had pulled up, and I was like, this is what I saw. I saw her open the mailbox, look in, see that there was nothing in there, and like the look of just like disappointment and anger on her face. Like,
I drove all the way over here.
And so I jump up, I put a hoodie on. I think I was wearing just like a stained shirt or something. And this was before I cut my hair, so my hair is all like I look like a crazy person.
Right.
And so I run outside with this bag of bottle caps. I give them to her. She's very pleasant with me. And then I say to Tim, like, I say, man, I had to run out and give them to her. I forgot. I apologize. Please apologize to your wife. I already did, but you please tell her, because I probably looked like an insane person. And he said, yeah, she said you're looking pretty rough.
Nice.
She went out of her way to tell him that I looked like a crazy person, despite this good thing I had just done for them.
Yeah, that's nice. You have your shit together.
I guess what I'm saying is I want you to add Tim's wife to your list of 3 people.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
That's it?
Yeah.
I can just say it and you'll do it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wonderful.
We'll discuss the contract later, but yeah.
All right. Do I have to become your mail order bride?
No.
Oh, damn. I was hoping it'd be as easy as that.
I just gotta text message from Stewardess Molly, and she won the drawing but picked the wrong number.
Oh no!
So instead of $5,000, she got $50.
Well, I guess we'll just have to we'll wrap up the show here so you can go
No, she's still there.
whip her ass.
Yeah.
This pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week with Hoover Boss. That'll be great.
South Wales.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
Woo!